Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. I start by sincerely offering my apologies. I have let you down. I have let down my YouTube TV audience and my Discord audience. So today everything will change. My main reason for being here is not to be the greatest investor in the world. I'm probably not. Let's be honest. Who is? I'm not the best at anything, but I am the best at holding myself accountable and providing a valuable service and working harder to deliver that than anyone else. I can do that. I can be reliable. I can be completely committed to my audience and dedicated to you. And I can also be reliable, dependable, and always show up. So today, there's going to be some major changes on the show, and I apologize for letting you down. When I say letting you down is you depend on this show. We have 115,000 subscribers. We're on course for 1 million by the end of next year. We have thousands on Facebook. We have 38,000, I think, on TikTok. Thousands on Instagram. And we have 720, I think, paid members on Discord. So I have a responsibility now to do the best and provide the best service. And when I started this, it was about providing a community, being together for each other, always dependable, always reliable, and providing the best, most honest information, not being sponsored. No one can buy the channel, always be here and just share my experiences, bring a community together and put on a show and make it entertaining, useful, valuable of your time, and so on. It's not about how can I get you to click, how can I get you to watch, what can I sell you. You may have noticed for months now we haven't had any merchandise for sale. Not pushing that, even though, of course, I need to live. I've not been doing that. I've turned down every day 30, 40, 50 grand's worth of sponsorship because that wouldn't be valuable to you. That would just be me selling you something so I can make money. And that's not what I want to do. I want to provide a service that is helpful and useful and valuable of your time more than anything else. And I've let you down because we're not consistent. We've not been reliable with our delivery of times. You don't know when we're on. We're going live. We're starting late. What's on today? And I find this really embarrassing and not acceptable. So as of tomorrow, this show will dramatically change and you can depend on it. It'll be live 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, all trading days at the same time. You will know when we're going to go live. I will post before the event itself, the upcoming live stream, which will be live at 7:30 a.m. Central Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 hour before the market opens, every single trading day. It will then come back for the closing bell at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the closing bell. You can set your watch to it. In my life, I've been a self-employed entertainer for 47 years or whatever. I forget the number now. Anyway, whatever it's been. And I've only ever taken 2 days off in that entire time as an entertainer. I'm not on about this channel. And once was from a broken arm and something else. I forget what it was. It's important to show up. It's important to be on time. It's important to provide consistency because you've built a business and an audience. They rely on you and they deserve you to be there on time. No excuses. No excuses whatsoever, unless you're dying, unless you're dead in hospital. There's no excuses for it. With the technology we have today, if the studio blows up, you go on your phone. There's no reason not to show up. And I have let you down. Going late, this and that and the other. Now, to be fair, I haven't missed very much. I've been live up to 12 hours a day for nearly 5 years. So I've worked harder than most, but not fulfilled my standards that I want to deliver to you, because it's going late by 5 minutes, what's happening, and so on. So you can rely on the show every single morning, every single trading day at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Basically 1 hour before the stock market in the United States open, this show will be live. Then the closing bell, 1 hour before the bell goes. You can rely on that. Now, there'll be extra shows if we have something before the scheduled time, like we have earnings reports, or we have inflation reports, or CPI or PPI. They often require going live half an hour before. All right? So I'll be live half an hour before. So I might be early, but I will not be late. All right, so you'll know when I'm going to go live. And of course, I will post the event in an upcoming live stream on the channel. It'll also be posted on all my social media platforms, which is Instagram, which is Facebook, which is Discord, and everywhere else. So it'll be posted everywhere, so you know. I've always done that, I'm just repeating that anyway. So you should always be able to find when we're live. Now in Discord, I put it in YouTube now, so you know what's coming up live always. Now, there'll be extra shows. There'll be extra events, earnings reports, breaking news throughout the day. Donald Trump's going to give a speech. Of course, we're going to pick up the live events, and we're going to come back for special events throughout the day. Of course, there'll be a lot more than just the opening and closing bell. I'm not taking anything away. I never do. I always add more. I'm going to work harder, and I'm going to be providing more services, not less. I'm just talking about being consistent and on time at the same time every day, so you can rely on us. After every single opening bell and every closing bell, there will be an event, a stage event on Discord. Straight after the bell. No ifs, ands or buts, no maybes, no, well, I've got something to do. Straight after the opening bell, there will be the after show party on Discord. Every single trading day, that will happen. The only times when it won't happen, if there's something we have to continue covering on YouTube TV. If there's a breaking news story, we have to cover that, then it will follow that. But it will follow that. Now, the closing bell in the afternoon, if we can't do a second event because there is an earnings call we have to go to, that will take precedent. But if there's nothing to go to, that will happen. The music show on Friday will be every Friday. Last Friday, I took Friday off. I thought you were getting tired of me. Maybe you are. Maybe you're not. But there are some people who want to enjoy it every Friday. Regardless of how many times we've done it, they want to be there every Friday. It's their community. It's their friends. It's their family. This channel is not about me. It's not, what can I do to maximize my income? What can I sell? How can I get people more to watch the show? It's not about that. I have put together a community. That is what this is about. You are the community. 115,000 people gathering here together to share time, to discuss the markets, particularly as we're about to go into a market meltdown. I absolutely believe that. So more than ever, we need the support of each other. We don't want to be sitting there guessing and gambling what's happening. Is Martyn going live? When's he going live? Is he on in a minute? You can't talk to your friends. You don't know what's going on. It's my responsibility to show up because we have built a community. We need to be there for them. It's our responsibility. It's my responsibility. So I'm sorry that I've allowed things to get a bit woolly across the whole network. Are we going live? What's happening? Who's on? What's not? It's all over the place and it cannot continue, and it stops right now. And I'm a human. I make mistakes all the time. I get tired. Oh, we got a special guest. Let me just read this out. Just please bear with me.
At Handle Banners 1112 tip $10 through Super Chat. $10 to confirm you don't let us down. Thanks for your comments and telling us your schedule going forward. We appreciate you, sir. Hand with index finger and thumb crossed emoji.
Well, that's very, very kind of you, Andrew. That's very nice. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. But I have let you down. And if I don't have a standard, it slips even further. And that's what's happened. Recently, I've allowed things to relax. I've allowed things to slip. And it's very difficult. I had the same issue many, many years ago when I ran my theatre company, One Night in Vegas. It started out very strict. We had a policy of how to grow the business, and you become friends and it becomes relaxed, and it just gets more and more and more relaxed. And many of the people that I employed, my band, were all money men, and they didn't have the passion I had, and it was all about how much money they could make. And it was like we lost the point. It wasn't how much money we can make. Money takes care of itself if you take care of your audience. Don't worry about the money. Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to earn money. I've got to earn money, and right now I'm massively in margin and massively behind everything. And down because of I'm buying the defensive play as we go into our crash, which I think we're going to have. I think it's insane how the market is structured right now. So it's tough and it's very hard to do it. So, you know, it's tough doing the right stuff. It's very easy to relax and just enjoy yourself and go, we're big enough, we got enough money, we're doing well, and you let it all fall away. If you don't keep pushing forward in life, you're going backwards. And it's very easy to say, well, I've got enough. I've done enough. That is not acceptable. And when you live by those standards, everything slips. You have to keep yourself accountable. You have to keep pushing forward. You have to always get up in the morning and do the right thing. And every time you relax and you allow it to just be okay, standards slip and you go backwards, and you deserve better. My audience deserves better. You deserve better, and I deserve to do better. So today things change, and I am deeply humbled by my audience that I have, deeply thankful, deeply respectful. I know I worked for it and I deserve it, but I'm now not deserving it, and I am, need to change. So I'm going to change. So this channel changes today. So as of tomorrow morning, we'll be live at the same time every day. 1 hour before the opening bell, I will be live. I might be earlier if there is an important event, but you will know. It's on all of my social platforms. You all know, you've got all the links below all the videos and so on and so forth. You will know that I'll be live exactly on the second, on the dot, for the closing bell in the afternoon. If there's technical reasons why I can't go live, the internet blows up or whatever, I have a phone. I can go live another way, but I will be on time. If there is any technical issue beyond my control, you won't be left guessing. I will be in the chat telling you something has gone on. We've got a tornado. The internet's gone out. I will be live in a couple of moments. You'll be updated because things can go wrong. I'm not God. I can't control the power of the internet, but I do have backup power. I do have backup internet. I just need to let you know in the chat what's happening so you're not left in the dark. As simple as that. Okay? Now, there's not going to be any more shows today. There's not going to be Discord today because I need to reset myself. I've allowed everything around me to slip. You might notice my hair's all scruffy. Every 2 weeks, I shave my head and get nice and straight and tidy. I'm scruffy. Why has this happened? Because I've allowed myself to relax. I've allowed myself to let things slip. and I'm behind. I haven't had chance. I haven't done my normal routine this morning. I haven't made the bed. I haven't got organized. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day getting organized. I'm going to start by having a shave, cutting my hair, making the bed, vacuuming the carpet. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's how I get organized. Get myself organized, get structured, go out for a walk, go to bed early, get up early tomorrow, and I'm back on it. I've been here for 5 years, all day, every day for 5 years, but over the last few months, the show has become unreliable. It's become undependable, if that's a real word, and I apologize for it. So thank you very much. Yeah, I am really sorry about everything. So anyway, let's stay here for the opening bell. All right. And then I'm going to wrap up this show and be back tomorrow with a brand new structure. And you can rely on me 100%. I don't want to make $1 million and have a million channel if it's just rubbish. I want it to be something I can be proud of, and I'm not proud of it right now. It's all over the place. It just seems like I'm doing, whatever I can just to make some money, and who the hell cares? We're about to go into a market crash. People need this community. They want this community. They want this friendship, and we've got to take that seriously. So we're taking it seriously. So I'll be back tomorrow morning on it every day as it is. No more messing around. Let me read some comments in the chat, and then we'll do the opening bell. We'll see how the market lies. As you can see, we're all over the place. The S&P is selling off now. You will soon. You're going to see the S&P sell faster than Coca-Cola. All right, everything's going down at the moment. Crypto is just in the toilet. Let's have a little look. So you can see the S&P is going to be down more than the Coca-Cola soon. That's when the rotation will happen. The S&P is down nearly a third of a percent today. All right. And Coca-Cola is down just 0.08. So you see it starting to happen. This is why I'm going defensive. Eventually, you're going to be safer everything's going to go down. 40-50% I think is going to happen. Crypto will go down 80%. Michael Saylor yesterday has been dumping Bitcoin. He said he never would. It's the first time he's done it for years. Michael Saylor is now selling Bitcoin. He has no choice, quite honestly. He's not doing it to save himself. He is forced to do it. All right. So anyway, that's why I've gone 100% in Coca-Cola, 100% of my margin. I want to buy all this, but I do not want to be in the S&P. That's going to drop up to 40%. VUG, the value, that's going down even harder. And as I say, if we look at crypto, you don't even want to look at crypto, do you? You got 126 now for XRP. That could hit 80 cents. Bitcoin is falling like a stone, 68. That could go down to 50,000. And Tom Lee's nonsense about 16,000 for Ethereum, we're now down at 1,976. Anyway, there it is. That's where we are. Let's do comments and questions as we go into the opening bell, and let's see what you have to say. Hey, potato family. Good morning, Martin, Leah, Kimberly. Hello. It says Chip Gaming. Good morning, Martin. How you doing? Slim. I might be cashing out of my US index funds today to consolidate cash. My kids' 529 account is invested in index funds. I can't afford to lose that if there is a market crash. Well, I don't think it's the right to come out of the market ever. I think it's just time to reposition into a defensive play or short-term treasury bills. You don't want to earn nothing, because if you come out of the market, you're losing 3 to 4% a year, aren't you? Just by doing nothing. At what price should Coca-Cola be sold today? If it goes higher, who knows? I've no idea. I have no idea where the market's going to go. I just want to be in Coca-Cola for that dividend income, and I'll just keep buying more if it goes lower. I'm not looking at the charts. I know charts make some sort of sense, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to going to save you it's not going to save you in a crash. There's no chart in the world that's going to do that. Good morning, Potato Family. Hello all to viewers and listeners. Good morning. Nancy Pelosi is. What's Nancy Pelosi doing? Good day, everyone. Hi, says Liz from Germany. Hello, good people of the world. Yes, 76 countries. Yes. Hey, you never let us down. We make our own decisions. Oh, I'm not on about the trades. I'm on about being reliable. Hi, everybody. Hi, Martin. Petra Menorca. What happened, Liz? Good morning, afternoon. Karen. Good morning, all from Starlight. Stephen Lewandowski, our oil baron, is here. Is everything okay, Martin? I thought you were doing fantastically. I am. I'm very happy with my portfolio. Yeah. But it's not about me. It's about what I can do for you. It's about being responsible for this community. Good morning, Dave. Good morning to you. Good morning, investors. I'm not sure what that means. So like the good old set times. Yes, absolutely. You are the strongest analyst on social media. Well, that's very kind. I have beaten the market for 3 years in a row. I'm going to beat it this year too. And not just a bit, 2 to 3x. So thank you. Good day. What will happen today? I have no idea. Thank you, Andrew, for that super chat. Martin, been saying crash is coming for 2 years. It will happen at some point. Oh, no, come on. You're not a member. You're talking nonsense. I've given the reasons. Of course, a crash will come eventually. That's not what I'm saying. I've not just been guessing for 2 years. I've been telling you when, why, if, how, but, and I've been rotating my shares and my positions. So don't try and make out I'm just some guy guessing and eventually like a clock is right twice a day. That's not what I've been doing. I've been beating the market for 3 years in a row and telling you what comes next consistently and reliably all that time. I'm not just guessing and going, the market's going to go up one day or the market's going to go down one day. Well, that's not a prediction. Anyway. Good morning, KD. Martin, you're the staple at our home in the morning and afternoon now. See what I mean, folks? This is important. I love the time schedule and the Discord events. You're not letting us down. Well, I have been, and it's not... Oh, hello. Hello. The S&P is falling, and Coca-Cola is going up. It's important. All right.
At Handle Banners 1112 tip $10 through Super Chat. $10 to buy yourself a pint or two. Hey, don't be hard on yourself. We appreciate you.
You have to be hard on yourself. That's why the show has fallen off a cliff. That's why the unreliability is all over the place, going late, inconsistent with shows. That's why, because I haven't been hard on myself. You have to be hard on yourself. If you're running a network, a business, if you're not holding yourself accountable, you slip. That's it. You have to. You have to. If you don't push forward, you go backwards. That's just how the world works. Rightly or wrongly, you have to be accountable. You have to push yourself. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Subwoofer. Right, your virtual community. Right, our virtual community does exist. Just tuning in. Ellie, how you doing? Long time not been here. Lovely to see you. Damn space. Not really. We told you exactly where it would sell. No surprise there whatsoever. We told you to take profits. The market is bracing for a crash. I mean, listen, folks, I've gone 100% in Coca-Cola. I mean, $350,000 margin. I mean, you can't be more. I mean, my conviction couldn't be any more than it is. I've even used outside borrowing. That's, I'm not just saying this stuff. I'm doing it with my own money. Can you please give a quick update? Should we get out or hold? Well, you can see what I'm doing. I'm not telling you to follow me, but I'm not going to say you should do this and I do something else because that would be dishonest. I'm telling you, I'm $800,000 in Coca-Cola. Every penny, all my margin, all in defensive. Go and watch a show on Space from yesterday, Ellie. That's right. We gave you all the numbers, all the facts, told you it was going to go down, told you to take profit, exactly the right levels. We were right again. Shifting gears, says Starlight. Yeah. RB, hello there. How you doing? Sometimes you can be right, but just too early, just like Burry. I'm not too early either, though. I'm not too early. You need to be prepared before the market goes there. Nice one, mate. The real one. Thank you. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate you. Kimberly, thank you. Liz, hello, Ellie. How you doing? Jamie, space down quite a bit already. Think it might hurt. Oh, I could see it going to $2. If you've not taken profit, I have no idea why. Quite honestly, Martin is not here to tell you or hold or buy or sell. Are you completely missing the point? This show is to educate you so you become confident to make your own decision, not to tell you what to do. Thank you, Petra. You do have a tie on, though. Absolutely. Yes, I do have a tie on today. And the reason why is because you should always, in my opinion, make more effort than the audience. I know today that entertainers will dress down. Comedians go on stage in jeans and T-shirts. They dress down. The audience very often are dressed better than the person on the stage. I'm old school, folks. I believe the person on the screen, the person on the stage should make more effort than the people in the audience because they have come to see you. It's a mark of respect. That's why you do it. It's not what I just wear what I've wore all day and I just walk on the stage in my jeans and T-shirt. That's basically saying I don't care less. No, I like the old school where people put a suit and a tie on because they basically were saying, we appreciate you being here and we deliver and we thank you. We respect the audience. The audience look up to you. They're watching you. Why should you be like dressed worse than the audience? I don't understand that. Me too, Martin. My house is falling apart. Truck falling apart. Body falling apart. Letting it go. That's right. That's exactly it. And you can do that if you want to. But if you want to do better and you want to respect the people around you or the audience or the people that rely on you, you've got to always hold yourself accountable and push forward. And if you don't and you relax, you go backwards. And nature wants you to go backwards. Nature wants you to decay. It's how we all die, right? It's how life goes. Everything lives, and the moment you're born, you start dying. That is human behavior. The moment you're born, your body starts to die. It wants to go back into the ground. That's nature, right? Well, if you want to achieve things and you want to make things and build things, you've got to fight against that. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to grow a business. It's not easy to build a business or do anything. You've got to continually push forward. And I've allowed myself to relax, and it's not good. I don't want to live like this. So there you go. Hello, Steve. Martin, good morning. And a lot of us would like to see you at a time we can count on. We don't like it when we miss your stream. There we go. Martin, good morning. And a lot of us would like to see you at a time we can count on. There you go. We don't like when you miss, when we miss your stream. There you go. There you go. You see, the community are saying, yes, we want to know when the show starts. It's like your favorite TV show. It starts the same time every day. It doesn't miss. It doesn't skip. It doesn't just go late. It shows up. Let's talk about the markets. I like the structure. I like structure. Thank you, Yolanda. You've now got it. Excellent. Vote for less whiskey shots and more spinning the wheel. This is why we love you, Martin. Thank you, Speed Clips. That's appreciated. Hello, Liz. Thoughts on HPE? I don't know. I've never looked at it. Thanks, Martin. Love your streams. Henrik, we got 1 minute to go before the bell goes. Let's get ready. Let's get ready to ring the bell. Here we go. I think the current volatility is stressing everyone, including Martin. He is willing to check himself. That's impressive. Most people in general can't do that, let alone in public. You're awesome. Thank you. That's very kind. Yes, it is difficult. I feel like everything I do is in public. Absolutely. I have nightmares sometimes thinking the camera's on or someone can hear the microphone. I don't know. Any other defense stocks other than, yes, there's Procter & Gamble, there's Pepsi Cola, there's Johnson & Johnson. Will Coca-Cola drop 40? No, 15 to 20%. With crypto, it looks like that. Yeah, facts. Thank you. Morning from Oregon. Thank you. 10 seconds to go. Here we go. The bell is about to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The bell has gone. I'm up $2,000 straight away. Rotation has apparently begun. There we go. Here is my portfolio. We're up, we're green today. The S&P is down. I'm beating the market again. It's starting. Virgin Galactic down 11% today. Look at my portfolio go. Up $1,500. Oops, bouncing around. $1,000 all over the place at the moment. Anyway, Virgin Galactic could go to $2 today. Insiders yesterday were dumping it like crazy. All right, so be careful. 15%. There it goes. We gave you all the numbers. There's my portfolio going up now 1,600. The rotation is beginning. There it is. Virgin Galactic now down 16%. Look at that. I literally pleaded with you to sell and take your profit. You're about 50% down. You were touching nearly $9. Look at it now. You had enough money for like 20 years of the S&P. Look at that. I'm up $2,000 now. This is why I didn't buy. This is why I warned you. Be in, be prepared for what comes next, not what is now. And there goes Virgin Galactic. You should be very disappointed today with the management. It's been inside trading. It's awful. I told you it's going to happen. It's happened. Palantir down. Gold up today. Why would you want to hedge? Just buy quality. I don't understand it. Amazon down. Apple shooting up today. Enphase Energy going up today. This is the one I told you would go to $100, and it will. Coca-Cola shooting up today. I'm making a ton of money. I'm loving it. The dividend is around the corner. I've got about $6,000 in dividends coming in just a couple of weeks. J&J defensive down. Goodbye. Chevron Oil going up. Tesla pulling back now. McDonald's defensive going down. Google going down. Warren, I absolutely blown away. Berkshire Hathaway just loaded up on Google. I do not understand it. Warren Buffett said the market is going to crash. He sold all of his S&P. He sold his VU and SPY, and yet Greg Abel has just loaded up on Google. We've got a massive change there at Berkshire Hathaway. That's why we're smashing their performance. Microsoft down. Meta up slightly. Nvidia up today, but now pulling back. Walmart down. Tilray Brands worth absolutely zero. Robinhood, why on earth that pumped? I've no idea. Vertical Aerospace, everybody got excited with all the space stocks, all the future aerospace stocks. Now they're selling off. Joby Aviation down. Arch Aviation down. Crypto 68,000. There it goes. I warned everybody. I sold at the top. Told you what was going to happen. I didn't guess. I didn't gamble. I spoke to Robinhood. I spoke to Ripple. I spoke to CEOs. I spoke to the banks. Look at it now. Yes, maybe one day it'll pop back up again. I don't know. But in a crash, it will go down 80%. Look at that. Michael Saylor is now selling Bitcoin. I'm not in it. XRP 126, it could hit 80. And while that's happening, my portfolio is gonna go through the roof. I'm up $3,000 now, 2.7. Look at that. The rotation trade 2.8. There it is. Buy with conviction. Martin was right again. $3,200 now. Look at this, folks. I'm about to start doing lot selling. I announced it this morning in Discord. I said, guys, I know you're frustrated. I know you're upset right now. I know you've been buying Coca-Cola with me. Not that you should, of course, follow me. And I know you're all frustrated. You wished, you bought Virgin Galactic. Really? You really did? Look at it. It could be at $2 today. Look at that. The first rule, never lose money. Don't chase momentum. Don't chase no value. Look at it. It went to $9. It's now down to $6. Holy Holy flipping moly. And while that's going on, here we are, up $3,500 on just 1%. So for every percent now, I've got about $3,500. Soon to sell some lots. Once we start hitting that 82, we'll be selling some lots. Okay, let's watch what goes on right now. My God. All right. Here we go. Down. Everyone's dumping now. There's my portfolio. There's the S&P going down. There's Virgin Galactic going down. We've not just been right on one prediction, folks. We've been right on all of them. I did my very best. Now I'm going to do my best to be on time and reliable and provide discipline on the broadcasts. But my trades, my predictions, every single one has been right. 3 years, I've beaten the market, not just by 2, but 3x in many cases. And I'm going to do it again for a 4th year. No options, no shorts, no guessing, no gambling. Just consistently buying value. Value, common sense, education, discipline will always win. It does. Always has, always will. We live in a speculative gambling economy now, and no one's paying attention to anything other than gambling and guessing. That's what you could be doing today, and that's what we warned against. There it is. The S&P is down. Palantir, with no value whatsoever, is selling off. It's so expensive. It's so ridiculous. I bet you Alex Karp himself is selling. So what do people do? They decide to buy gold. What the bloody hell do you do that for? It doesn't earn anything. Oh, it's a hedge. What do you want a hedge for? Just buy value. I have no stop losses. I've got an absolute fortune. An absolute fortune. $300,000 margin. No stop losses. None whatsoever. No protection. I don't want the protection. I don't want to sell if it goes down. I want to buy if it goes down because I understand the value of what I've bought. I understand the business. Apple pump to dump. Look at that. Way too expensive. Enphase Energy. How many times have I told you it's going to $100? How many times have I shown you that? Meet Kevin said buy it at 100 because he was sponsored by them. There's no sponsorship on this show. We're telling you how it is directly from the sources. That is $100 stock. Look at it. We told you to buy this. I didn't tell you to buy it, but I said 22, 24 was the time. And I told you also to take some profit too at 70. Coca-Cola. Once we get to $82, I'm not going to share my trades with you. They're defensive. Johnson & Johnson now going up. It's all going to be shared with you on Discord and Electrum. Bitcoin, 68.7. This is absolutely... People are getting absolutely wrecked now. People are getting absolutely wrecked. Michael Saylor is now selling Bitcoin. This is a very, very, very bad day in the world of crypto. XRP 126, we see 80 cents. Ethereum down 1% today. Terrible. The S&P still down. My performance still up. We're beating the market again. Wow. Let's go to my full position. There you go. Now, it only shows 658,000 only. 659,000. I've got another 60,000 in the Roth IRA. I've got another 60,000 in the ISA in the UK. So we're looking at 800,000. 800 grand now. Nearly $1 million of my own money, all of my outside borrowing, all of my margin, and I'll show you in case you're in any doubt. This is, look, my buying power. Look, there it is. Margin, 100%. I've used it all. I've used it all. I've got $150 to spend. I've got a 49% buffer. I bought at the right time. Even if it wasn't perfect, it was good enough. We're up 3.5 grand now. Look at that. We're going to start doing some business in a minute. Oh my gosh. It's beginning. It's beginning. Nearly $4,000. Please tell me, everybody, that you did sell your Virgin Galactic. It's now down to $581. We're now up to $4,000. Please tell me in the chat, did you sell Virgin Galactic when I told you to? Did you all sell it? Did you hold your Coca-Cola? I know many of you got frustrated. People were saying, "Oh, I'm so angry. I'm shouting at this. I'm shouting at the chart." And I said it will go up so quickly. And I even announced it this morning. In fact, I would like everyone to fact check me right now. Did I put in Discord this very morning before this, it will suddenly pop up? Did I tell you that this morning? In Discord, did you read all of that? Did you hear my voicemail this morning in Discord? In fact, I'm going to play it for you. I'm actually going to play it for you so you know exactly what I said this morning. I know it's frustrating. Look at this. This is my actual Discord. Look at that now. $4,000 now. Bloody hell. Look at that. Going to start paying some margin off in a minute. I can't afford that sort of margin. Who the hell can? Right? So here we go. Martyn's inner thoughts. I've beaten the market for 3 years in a row. Right. Here it is. Let me see if I can play it. Unmute.
Good morning, guys. I know it's tough this morning. It's tough doing the right thing. I know many of you are frustrated, but we're starting to see the whole market start to come down now. Crypto just keeps bleeding. And the S&P is coming down. Coca-Cola, as like I said before, it's not a free ticket. You even see like Virgin Galactic massively selling off from yesterday as well, as we expected it would do. It's not going to be easy when the market sells off. Everything will go down. But you can either be out of the market and guess the bottom and try to time it, or stay in. I can tell you now, in just as 18 days time, I will be buying another $12,000-$13,000 worth of Coca-Cola if it's still this level or lower. It's tough. It's hard. I know. I feel your pain. I know many of you are frustrated. You're shouting at the chart, please go up. But you can imagine my position. You know, I've got 330,000 margin, and but I'm not worried. I understand what I own, and I'm playing the course and looking to buy more. I kind of hope it does go down. Then I can sell the higher lots and pay off the margin quicker. But there we go. If it goes up, that's great as well. I'll still sell the higher lots to pay off the margin. I'll see you live on the YouTube show shortly. It's difficult, I know. People are frustrated, but I buy Coca-Cola at this time because it's a rotation trade, but it's also good value, even though it's expensive. I'd rather be in there than the S&P. It's hard to do the thing that nobody else wants to do ahead of when everybody wants to do it. But there it is. That's my thoughts on it. I'll look forward to seeing you shortly on the show.
That was sent to you this morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Okay, 7 a.m. in the morning. Yesterday, I sent this message.
Hi, guys. It's a bit early to say, but we're starting to see some cracks forming here. Some word.
So this was sent yesterday onto Discord.
From Japan. The S&P is selling off. A lot of the tech stocks are selling off tonight. Coca-Cola is still holding down. It takes a while for it to start to absorb and then rebound and become its rotation trade that I always like to focus on. But it's good to see. Well, it's good to see for those who have gone defensive. But I do see some real worrying signs starting to form now. We've not had the full impact of the oil latest with no deal. we haven't had that reaction yet. And that's so worrying that the market is just kind of like become quite sanitized to it all. But all of a sudden, it's going to start to crack today, tomorrow, next week, next month. I don't know when, but I feel good that I'm in Coca-Cola. I know I'm in deep with it. Never thought I'd have 800 grand worth of Coca-Cola. That number just blows my mind. But that's where I am. And did you hear Leah? Good grief in the background. Yeah, it's a number I never thought I would get to, but. There it is. I feel that the market is going to come down. Starting to see some cracks. So I think the market is it's become desensitized to all of this. It can only ever go up. The reporters on Bloomberg and CNBC, it's just always going to go up. It's ridiculous. I will just feel a whole lot happier when I start to see it happen because I want to do the right thing, and I just think it's unpopular and it's difficult sometimes. It feels very stressful to focus on what comes next rather than what is. It's easy to be going up when everybody's going up together, but the hard part is to do what comes next, and that's the unpopular part. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm staying, and I believe it's the right place to be. Let me know your thoughts. Good luck, guys.
So that's what I shared on Discord. That was yesterday, that one. I do feel the weight of responsibility, even though every day I say it's not financial advice. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. But so many people just don't know what they don't know. And it's frustrating because if you'd all taken your profit from Virgin Galactic now, you could have, I mean, you remember Zach yesterday, Zach Zeit, he wouldn't sell any. I mean, he's literally lost half of his money. Imagine if he'd sold. I was pleading with people, literally pleading with people. We gave you all the chart positions, all the numbers. It was exactly at the indicators told us. Sensei's indicators are just fantastic. I told you about the insiders would dump on it. I told you that these people can't be trusted, and bang, here we are. We might even find out in a minute they're diluting the stock. I mean, I told you that was coming as well. Imagine, I know people say they just want to hold forever, but that doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. You just donate your money to these people. Look at bloody Bitcoin. 50,000. There's nothing to stop it. Michael Saylor's now selling. You wait for the liquidations to kick in later. God. Oh well. He just sold 32, not much, and he said that in the earnings call that he will sell some. This does not mean he has done. Yes, he is. You're obviously a Bitcoin maximalist. He's going to be forced to sell a ton more soon. 32 Bitcoin, so it's nothing at all. He's going to be selling a lot more soon, but it's not much. Well, it's what it stands for. It's what it means. So I respectfully disagree with you. Poor Zach. Well, he won't see it that way. He'll see it as, I want to hold it. Well, I said, for God's sake, take some profit. I mean, you could just buy twice as much back, you know. You were saying XRP was going to be in the thousands. No, I didn't. That's a lie. That's a lie. Can anyone in the chat, please, tell this person here who's just said you were saying XRP was going to be in the thousands? Can everybody in the chat, please, tell this person what my prediction for XRP has been? Because we got somebody in here trying to discredit what I've just said. And I want everyone, I don't want to say it because I could say what I want, couldn't I? I want you to say it. What numbers have I given on XRP? Zach is probably buying more. Well, yeah, but if he'd sold at the top, he could have bought more, couldn't he, Petra? I mean, you literally had free money to buy more. I took profit on space. I used your information and made profit. Thank you. Congratulations, Andrew. Nvidia up 2%. Yeah. Michael Saylor didn't sell much and said he's about to buy more during this dip. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course he is. That's why it's going down, because no one's selling. It makes me laugh when people say, no one's selling Bitcoin. 68,000. They've been selling it for nearly a year. Martyn has never said about XRP. No, thank you, Kimberly. Virgin Galactic is selling all his shares to pay off the government to take his name off the Epstein files. Yeah. 5, maybe 10, but 5 for sure. That's right. There you go. Yep, that's a lie. Thank you. Yep, thank you. There you go, mate. Don't need me to say it. The audience are telling you. What are the audience telling you? What are the viewers telling you? Look at that. Coming in here saying we said thousands. Trying to discredit the show. That's a lie. Yep. That's what you said. You never said XRP going to 1,000. You said 5. And I've also said it can go to 80 cents. Now we're getting Coca-Cola sell as well. Don't worry, I'm not worried about it. I hope it goes lower. But we're now getting Coca-Cola sell. We're getting everything selling now. Apart from Apple, it seems. Enphase, look at it. Yep, now Coke is going red. J&J is going red. Oil's going up. Everything's set. Tesla, McDonald's, Google, Microsoft. Meta's up today. Nvidia is up today, 2.67. Walmart going down. Tilray going down. Robinhood going down. Vertical down. Joby down. Archer down. Bitcoin, bloody 68. XRP, I'm surprised XRP's not lower than that, actually. I think you could see XRP drop to 80 cents. That's what I've been saying anyway. So, yeah, we're going red now. Now, that wasn't enough for me to sell, so that's why I didn't. Nice little pump this morning, but not selling there. I've got my lots lined up. No point selling my lots yet. But I'm down 0.14. The S&P is down 0.1. Remember, I'm double down because of margin, so I'm beating the market. If you think about it, the S&P is down 0.1. Coca-Cola is down 0.04. It's down more for me because I'm in margin, but I'm still beating the market. Coca-Cola is the winning trade today. People will take profits out of it just the same because they want to buy the dip. I understand it. That doesn't matter to me. Let's come back to the questions. What happened to being extremely bullish on space? I haven't watched in a few days. No, you haven't watched and you're not a member. That's not what I'm saying at all. We've given you full deep dive analysis coverage for hours and hours and hours, thousands of videos explaining the path to $100. That doesn't mean to say it's going to go there. All right? I've explained all the intricacies of it. And told you, we gave you the number, 8 and 9, it was time to take profit, it was going to crash down. We gave you the numbers, the limits, everything, and the people who would sell and everything. I sometimes wonder what people are listening to come on, members, be honest. That's right. You said 1,000 pennies, Martyn. 3 to 10, that's right. Martyn never said XRP would go to 1,000, no. 80 cents, yeah. Pennies. Martyn didn't say that. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's important that you've done that. Really appreciate it. Martyn saying that is like believing Michael Saylor is only selling now to buy later. Yeah. Yeah. Michael Saylor is being forced to sell. You can spin it any way you want. But Michael Saylor is now being forced to sell. At $68,000, if we hit 68, it will drop like a stone. Because he's being forced to sell with his, his stretch. He's got no choice. Michael Saylor will have to start selling. He'll have no choice in a minute to pay those dividends. His stretch accounts and all the stretching the truth as well. But yeah, if it goes to 68,000, it can go a lot lower very quickly. Anyway, we shall see what happens. Of course, you're going to say it's an opportunity to buy and all that kind of stuff. Martyn never said that. That's right. Low 1. Yeah. Max 10. That's right. Shaking my head at these people talking smack about Martyn. They'll always do it. What makes me upset is, Kimberly, the channels they're coming from, because they always come from channels, those channels they're coming from are sponsored by people with adverts, or, I don't mean the YouTube ads, I mean the sponsorship, or they're offering custodial services. They're saying, send me your money and I'll for $2,000 I can protect your Bitcoin, sorry, your XRP. That's where they're coming from. There's no sponsorship here. No one's giving me any money. I'm not selling you anything. Unless you want to pay a couple of bucks to be on Discord, of course. Whatever. But, and they'll still try and say I said something different. If ZZ was up 40%, not take the big win and then buy more on the dip. I'm not sure I know what that means. Martyn said 5 target. That's right. Palantir down 5% now. Come on, dude. Don't crap on Martyn. He does so much good. Thank you. At what price are you trimming Coca-Cola? I'll be selling my top lots, 82. I'm not going to give the exact numbers here on the show. That's for my Discord members and my lecture members. I don't share my trades on the screen to get clicks. We don't want to be front run. We're not trying to get clicks on anywhere. We're just trying to help people. So all of my trades are on Discord and Electrum. My God, it's hitting the magic number in a minute. And that. Now I've got the studio green because I'm green. We're beating the market again. But yeah, this is just the beginning. Coca-Cola coming down, yeah. XRP 5, that's what I said, yeah. Sailor is not selling a tiny bit. Who doesn't panic the whole market even more? He'll have no choice to sell. If we go below 60,000, he hits his trigger points and he'll be selling. There's nothing he can do. Yeah, there's nothing he can do. I even put a snip prior in crypto news. Have a look at that warning. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. What's this? Oh, wow. That's a good super chat. Thank you very much. That promotes the service.
George Semaine tipped £19.99 through super chat. Hey Martyn, it's Jojo_S here. My membership must have lapsed, sorry. Hope you're enjoying the red days and the odd nip of whiskey. Best wishes, buddy.
Hey Jojo, how are you? Thank you so much for that wonderful super chat. That's really, really kind. I can't thank you enough for that. That's amazing. Thank you very much indeed. So we're green today. We're just watching Bitcoin. Not that it bothers, not that I'm bothered, of course, but it's an indicator to what comes next. Remember I said crypto will go first. Crypto could go down 80%. Then the S&P will drop to 40%. And Coca-Cola will down 10 to 15%. Martyn said $10 at the most. That's right. Always when I'm in Coca-Cola, it's going red. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it though. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Okay, so you're banned now. If you just come in here to talk stupid, we don't want stupid people. This is a financial channel. So where are you? Where's this idiot here? Benny. Yeah, Benny Hill. We got Benny the idiot in. Where is he? Let's get rid of him. You're serving no value. You're not providing any information. No one's enjoying your company. You're just an idiot. So let's get rid of Benny. There he is. Hide from the channel. There you go. We don't need idiots. Doesn't serve any purpose. They don't provide any value. So no point having them in here. Maybe keeping cash rather than buy on the way down. Bottom could still be far. Well, yes, it could. I wouldn't be buying crypto at all. Red wires up though, solid business. Is MNTS on your radar? Momentous. We've been looking at it. No, it's got no value. It's just trading off the back of trading off the back of SpaceX. So we're not here to guess and gamble. All right. Might be people selling their options on Coca-Cola. The market will reset itself. Just be patient. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not at all concerned about Coca-Cola at all. I understand the business. I understand the value. Really, I mean, Coca-Cola is down 0.05. The S&P is down 0.11. Crypto, oh my dear God, it's gaining speed now. 68.6. XRP 125. We're breaking all support now. Under $2,000 now for Ethereum. Bitcoin 68. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Might be selling, people selling their options. Martyn never said that. Thank you, High Energy. $5, that's right, yes. He said 5 to 10, that's right. Thank you, guys. I can really rely on you, as you can rely on me. Coca-Cola looks like accumulating 78.50. Yeah, Sensei said we might even get to 76, but I'm really not bothered about that because everybody will be piling in and you won't even see it. It'll pop straight up. Looks like accumulate, you just miss out. If I subscribe, will you be my financial advisor? Well, you have subscribed. You can't chat without subscribing. No, I will not be anyone's financial advisor. I will just share with you my trades. I will do one-on-one support in Discord. Yes, you can do that, but I'm not your financial advisor. What are your thoughts on oil and why is it down? Is oil down today? I didn't even look. Let's have a quick look. If it's down today, that's because of short interest, inside trades, and the market ignoring the fact we're not going to get a deal with Iran, because we're not. The war is lost. Trump's not getting a deal. We've explained it. There's no deal coming. What do you mean oil down? You just said oil's going down? Oil's going up. Oil's going up. What do you mean? Oil's going down. We're 92. In fact, can everyone say please in the chat what number did I put on telling you that oil was going to go to? Oh, there it goes. Oh dear, oh dear. What did I say oil was going to go to? Can anybody remember? What are your thoughts? My one concern is to stay out of the penny stocks 5. Zach, please, I begged you yesterday to take profit. Zach, I begged you yesterday to take profit, didn't I? Told you it was going to go down today. You could have doubled your position. I did. I literally told everyone, take your profit at $8, $9, and here we are at 5. You could have doubled your position. I begged everyone. Oh dear.
At Chief Choker Host hasn't tipped $5 through Super Chat. Can't wait to double my shares on Virgin Galactic once it reaches $3.
Well, to be honest, with this level of selling and the fact they're inside selling as well, it could go to 2. It could even go to 1. This will lose confidence now. This is what I talked about. Look at Bitcoin. Here it comes. If we hit 68, Michael Saylor is forced to dump mass Bitcoin. It's beginning. It's beginning. Crypto will go first. The S&P is down. The rotation trade will come next. Coca-Cola is down 0.1. The S&P is 0.12. Everything is selling now. We had that little pop on Coca-Cola this morning. Bitcoin is gaining speed. There it goes. XRP is gaining speed now. There you go. The liquidations will come in now. People see it as a buying opportunity and it will be driven down. God. Completely avoidable, folks. Woo! Does anyone remember what number I gave you for oil? I'm talking about bullish on space a few years ago. As a member, Go, but stop using YouTube for a long time, so I haven't followed your investment journey. Yes, things are very different now than they were a few years ago, Hamish. How's Virgin Galactic? Should I sell negative now? I mean, I can't tell you what to do now because there is no good news anywhere. Selling for losses if you know it's going to keep going. No one knows. Will you be buying discounted crypto? No.
At Diesel_Ada
No.
tipped $1.99
No, I won't.
through Super Chat. Martin, will you buying discounted crypto?
No.
Fafo.
No. Not before a crash comes. You're having a laugh, aren't you? Call him Michael Saylor. What do you think about USAR? I'm up 25%. Yeah, we talked about it when they went to China. We told you what the deal was. I had a direct link to the White House. I had a press room contact I shared with you. And I said, it's not about NVIDIA. It's not about Tesla. They're just taking Elon like bloody performing puppets to roll them out. The real business was done at USAR, Rare Earth. That was where the business was done. A couple of days later, you saw it. I also told you the inside trades as well, what would be done. And I was right. I told you who was buying and who was selling. Saylor will say it, otherwise it dropped faster and he need to sell much more. I don't know what you mean by that. It's momentous an opportunity. It doesn't make any money. It's trading off the back of SpaceX. No more, no less. Well, I never followed your trades. Okay, well, we banned you now, so it doesn't really matter. 5 to 10 maximum. Yeah, thank you, that's right. Put Virgin Galactic, am I losing all my money? We begged you to sell. Yeah, $4.96. Oh, Christ. It was at $9. I told you the company cannot be trusted, and there it is. I told you there'd be liquidation. We'll probably find out there's some information about dilution coming. They took their money. I told you that Eric Kearney and Michael Colglaze and all these people will take the money. It's an ugly business, isn't it? It's an ugly business. But if you focus on value, you focus on doing what's right, you really, you can't go wrong.
At Diesel_Ada tipped $1.99 through Super Chat. Don't get nervous, Lucas aids. Martin will steer us.
Well, as you know, I could buy that. Me and 5 others could buy the whole of Virgin Galactic today if we wanted to. If you remember, about 3 years ago, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we put together a petition of the 95% of the world's retail investors on Virgin Galactic, a consortium. We put them together, and you may remember that back in the day. And we got policy change at Virgin Galactic. They were wasting money. Michael Colglaze and everybody else was paying themselves all this money. Too many people running around in the desert having a party, spending it on lavish events, and we changed that policy. We put a petition together which got in front of Michael Colglaze, and they cut about 25% of the workforce, which was great. And from that moment on, they started they were starting, their earnings was beating, their presentation got better. And there it is. The Bitcoin is collapsing now. It's just gaining momentum. It's not slowing down. It's gaining momentum. There it goes. No value at all right now. Before a market crash, there's no value here. So we have in our pocket, in my phone right now, 5 phone numbers. And if we decide to buy the company, we could buy the whole thing. There's enough money with me and 5 others. We could buy the whole company live on the show right now. But we're not buying it here because we don't trust the management. We've called for a management change. And that's my biggest problem. That's why I can't buy Virgin Galactic. The product is great. The product is great. The engineers, the scientists, the pilots, those that work there. They even stopped one of the pilots speaking to me. I had a friend who would speak to me and tell me stuff, and they tried to tell me that the person that was speaking to me just didn't want to speak to me anymore. No, he didn't. He was stopped by them to speak to me. That's the sort of stuff we're dealing with. And remember I told you I had Eric Kearney. I interviewed him 3 times. And every time he spoke to me, it was about his time at GameStop when Roaring Kitty, he was working there on the marketing department. That's what he told me when they had the big thing with Roaring Kitty and all that. I said, this doesn't sound very good. I said, I want to help people. I said, I want space to succeed. This just looks like you're just greedy and pump and dump. And I warned of it. And I said, I don't like it. I want no part of this. Would you go on camera? No, wouldn't go on camera. We had him on. It was on camera to me privately.
Canadian dollars through super chat. Will Lockheed Martin rally with the war?
I wouldn't bet on war. I wouldn't bet on that. I don't like investing and stuff like that. Look at Bitcoin now. So I said I don't like all this. I said you've created a wonderful thing for people to go into space, and it just looks like a pump and dump. The fact you're talking to me now about GameStop, it's like I don't want to talk about that. And that's what he wanted. That's what he was talking about, and I hated it, and I just didn't like him. And I said to people, it's horrible. And I just from that moment I got out of it, and I sold for a loss. I lost 40 grand. 40,000 I donated to Virgin Galactic. I said I can't be part of this, and I can see it going to 100 on momentum. I've talked about it over and over again. It can go to 100 on momentum. The trouble is, it'll keep being dumped on the journey. People will keep taking money out of it dramatically, and that's exactly what's happening. And there are people now. Maybe there's somebody here. There's people sitting here right now who paid $9 for Virgin Galactic who may never see their money again. And I said, that's why I said sell it, take that profit and buy it back. Yeah, you may never see it. They may dilute it back down to 1 or 2. You'll never see 9. Anyway, Bitcoin's hitting that magic 68,000. At 68, we could go a lot lower, a lot quicker. Petra, you're not losing money because bottom lots are making more. That's right. Plus, if they sell now, you get, yeah, that's right. Get him out. Yeah, I did. I kicked him out. Yeah, Benny Hill. Yeah, we don't tolerate idiots. This channel isn't a place for idiots to hang out, is it? Hi, Martin. If you think Coke will drop further, why would you not sell part or all of your portfolio high from Perth? I don't sell for losses unless I know 100% that Coca-Cola is going lower. I don't know if Coca-Cola is going lower. There's no way I can know, right? Because remember, in my calculations, the predictions that I'm going to put to you is this. Coca-Cola can drop 15% if the S&P goes down 40%. That means Bitcoin goes down 80%. That means meme coins go down 99%. So, but remember, you're going to be earning 2.77% dividend even if it goes down. It's better to be in the market than out of it.
James Rose 8,695 tipped $5 through Super Chat. I cannot find a tax lot option on my Robinhood. Can you explain, please?
Yeah, I certainly can. Great question. So, let me show you my real position. So if I go over here and change to this, let me clear away the screen. Okay, so let's come out of Bitcoin because who wants to watch that right now? Coca-Cola. This is my brokerage position. I'm going to have to probably adjust the screen. Yeah, I'm going to have to adjust this slightly. There's a... I've got to get the whole thing on the screen. So let me make it bigger so you can see everything. Right. Okay. Is that better? Can you see everything? Right. So if I click trade at the bottom and I go sell. Okay. Now this is my real money, my real trades. At the top, it says shares. I'm going to make that smaller. You still can't see everything. Okay, can you see at the top shares? You see that? So I click shares and I go sell in tax lots. Now I can select my tax lots. So I'll select them and have a look. All the individual lots on and I'll sort from the most expensive to the cheapest. So these are all my individual lots. These are when I bought each individual lot. Every time you buy on your brokerage, you create a lot. Now, if you have a brokerage where you don't have lots, you can email the brokerage, and they can very often, because they've got the lots, they are literally ledgers in their account. They can sometimes, some brokerages will sell the lots you want. You just got to email them, ask them. They don't advertise that service. You have to ask them, right? So, but on Robinhood, we have it available in the US. On the UK, it's not available, but in the US, it's available. So if we look at the bottom, we can see even my lowest lots are out of the money. So $79 at the bottom of the list, that's out of the money. The ones at the top, $80.74, obviously they're out of the money. So what we're looking to do is this. I'm buying more and more because I want to go defensive, because I'm preparing for a crash and it's already beginning. Okay. It's early days. These things can take months. Bitcoin, as you can see now, if we just look again, it's literally falling off a cliff. It's gaining momentum as well. Okay. All of it. Okay. So what we're trying to do is we're going defensive. I don't believe it's right to be out of the market. I think you can make more money by remaining in the market. And for 3 years, I've done that and outperformed the market. I have 3x the market. So I don't believe in just running. There are times when you want to start moving into treasury bills. We've been doing that. But now we're buying a defensive play because the money will rotate into it. We can sell the higher lots, which is why I'm showing you lots. And then we can buy more. That's swapping them for the lower lot. So what's going to happen? All of a sudden, we're going to have a little bounce. Now, I've used all my cash, all my margin. I don't want to be in that amount of margin, not because I'm afraid of it. It'll take me forever to pay it off. All right. I don't earn that much money, right? I can't have $1 million. I've currently got 800 grand worth of Coca-Cola, right? $350,000 margin. It'll take me 20 years to pay it off, right? I don't earn that amount of money. So what I've got to do is I've got to sell some.
I can't believe this.
Oh, we got a special message. Hang on.
@sensei_live has become a member. Can we get some hearts in the chat? A bit of support for Martyn, please. Always being live and real. No one shows their real balance and trades. Put some hearts in the chat if you support Martyn. Red heart emoji.
That was from Sensei. That was nice. How nice is that? How nice is that? That's very kind. I appreciate that, mate. How are you, mate, by the way? How's the little baby? Everything all good? Anyway, so when we pop up and we get to 80.74, now I'm not going to give my actual trades on the show, my numbers, because we don't want to be front run. We have a Discord server where we discuss our trades. We also have Electrum on YouTube. So that's where we do all of that. So I'm not going to just tell people, trolls and people just coming in here, what we're going to do so they can It's not for clicks. It's to help people, right? So that's what we do. So I can start selecting these top lots. Now, these top lots, I want to clear 300 grand. That's the margin I've got, right? So that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. There you go. Can you see all that? Now, can you see at the bottom? Can you see at the bottom of the screen?
At Humane Being Liz has become a member. Romantic face emoji. Sensei had a great idea. Heart emoji. Heart emoji. Heart emoji. Heart emoji. Thanks, Martyn.
If you look at the bottom of the screen, you can't quite see it, so I'll just raise it up. If I use those lots there...
I can't believe this!
At bar 3851 has become a member. Martyn, I am really grateful for everything you do.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. If you look at the bottom of the screen, that says 291, about 300 grand. So selling those top lots will wipe out my margin. I'm out of debt. Easy, right? And then we end up keeping all of this. Now, why do I want to do that? What's the point of that? Well, because we want to go defensive. We don't want to just sit out on the market. We understand the value of Coca-Cola. We know it's going to $90, $91, $92 this year, despite the crash. We understand that. So I want to go there because it's a rotation trade. People will sell the S&P. They'll sell their Bitcoin. They're already doing it. Bitcoin is now literally about to hit the magic number where Michael Saylor will be forced to dump mass amounts of Bitcoin. It's falling off a cliff. There it is. So money will rotate into defensive plays. Okay? So when we start going up, thank you for the super chat. That really helps. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
At 1,970, a Buckley tipped $5 through super chat. Heart emoji. Heart emoji. Heart emoji.
All right.
Heart emoji.
All right.
Heart emoji.
I'm going to mute it.
Heart emoji. Heart emoji. Heart emoji.
Okay, I'm muting it. I'm muting it. If you do that, I just mute it. One was enough. Thank you very much for the super chat, 1970 Buckley. Appreciate it. So, what we can't predict, no one can predict the bottom, but I always get the bottom. And how I've beaten the market for 3 years in a row is always it's done it. It's done it. Bitcoins have broke 68,000. Okay. You see it gaining speed like I told you it would. There it goes. It broke 68,000. So nothing to really stop it. We could go 50,000. Of course, some people there could be some short-term rallies. People think, okay, it's a bottom here. Let's buy it here. I mean, whatever. I'm not doing it because the people that are buying this, they don't think a crash is coming. They think Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million and it's great. I don't think that. I do think Bitcoin can go to $1 million, but I think a crash comes first. Okay. So I am not going to be ended up with an asset that doesn't earn me any money, doesn't make me any money, doesn't produce a yield. I don't want to do that just before a crash occurs because that's just like bankruptcy, suicide, nuts, stupid. And I'm not in the stupid club. I went all the way with my education and I don't intend to forget what I learned. And I'm not doing that because that's just a stupid thing. We're giving some memberships away. I see we've just been donated some memberships. Thank you so much indeed. So let me come back to the lots in a minute. So selling the top is not a real thing. No one can sell the top. It's impossible, right? There's no such thing as selling the top. People say they sell the top. You can't sell the top. It doesn't exist. The top runs forever and ever and ever. 1,000 years from now, the top's higher. And that's not because assets go up in price. It's because money is being devalued. What? Oh, God. Look at this. I warned everyone this morning it would gain speed. Was I right? Was Martyn right again? Okay. Now, how do I know this? How am I so consistently right? It's because I talk to the people. I talk to Ripple, Robinhood, the banks, CEOs, hedge fund managers, White House contact. It's not rocket science. This stuff is very easy. You don't know how manipulated you are. Michael Saylor will now be forced to sell. Everyone knows it's coming.
At Defense 89 tipped $5 through Super Chat. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji. THX for saving me from crypto crash.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. I just hope, I wish you would have sold earlier though. Oops.
At Handle Banners 1112 tipped $10 through Super Chat. Hi. You talk about the market crash. Can you please remind us when that might occur and why?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Let me finish off with the lots. I will answer everyone's question. Just give me time to go through and give everybody a proper answer. Just focusing on the lots. So I understand I want to be in Coca-Cola. I've already done my research. I've worked out the value of the business. I know it's where money goes in a recession. I know it's where money goes in a crash. So I want to buy it. But I don't buy it at any price. I want to buy it at a fair price so it's worth more in the future. But I don't know. I know what the price is I want to pay, and that's why I bought it. But I don't know how low it's going to go. No one does. Warren Buffett doesn't know that. So how do I get the bottom? I don't focus on the top because no one can sell the top because the top doesn't exist, but the bottom definitely does. The bottom absolutely does, but the top doesn't. Right? The top runs forever, but the bottom is definitely something you can get. And that's how I've beaten the market 3 years in a row, 2 and 3x'd it. So how do you get the bottom? Well, you first of all buy an asset that's going to go up, not going to crash and go to zero, right? So you've already, in my mind, I've made my mind up. I'm buying Coca-Cola, okay? I've done the research. I've done the hard work. Now what I've got to do is keep earning money to be able to buy. And I keep buying more and more. But you've got to be very gradual about it because you run out of money in 5 minutes. Right? So I used all my cash. I was very happy. And now I'm buying a lot more and I'm using margin. Okay. So because it's going to, nothing goes straight down. Everything ripples up and down. Nothing goes straight up. It's the same thing. At some point, it's going to bounce up and we're going to get a rotation trade into Coca-Cola. There's no doubt about it because everyone now is going to get liquidated on crypto. You can see it now. I told you it would gain momentum and speed and it has. There it is. It's doing exactly what I said. People look at XRP. I said to you, didn't I? I don't know why this hasn't gone down quicker yet. There it is. I said it would go down like 20 minutes ago. I said it will go down more than Bitcoin. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. Well, there it is. 10 minutes later, there it is. 80 cents is what I see it. Maybe less. Sensei's even talking about 50 cents. I mean, it's hard to say, but I can't be buying this before a market crash because it's down 80%. If we go down 40% on the S&P, you're going to see all this get wiped out to near nothing. So I can't do that. That's not investing. That's just suicide. All right. I will answer all the questions one by one. I know they're all piling up now. Please bear with me. So thank you so much.
At Defense 89 tipped $2 through Super Chat. What's a rotation trade?
Right, I'll come back to that. So, we can't buy the top. We can't sell the top. No one can, but you can buy the bottom. So, as it goes down, I'm buying more and more. Now, eventually, you run out of money. I'm out of money. All my cash is gone. All my margin is gone. And I borrowed all the money I can on credit cards at 4%. Not 23%, at 4%. So less than my margin, right? So I'm all in. What happens now? Well, I fuel the engine. I keep working. I work harder. I'm live all day, every day. I'm earning money. I'm earning money to be able to buy more. You can't do it by guessing and gambling. You go to work. You put the hard work in. So when I get paid on the 21st of June, I'm going to buy, if Coca-Cola is down here, another $13,000 of Coca-Cola because I'm going to earn about 6 on YouTube and then I double it with margin. So 13. If it's up, of course I won't. Now in between then, to get more, I want to sell the top lots. Now, why the top lots? Well, in a minute, these bottom lots are going to turn green. Of course, the bottom lots will turn green. The one that's 79, that's the lowest.
I can't believe this.
We got another new member. Thank you.
Total War 56 has become a member.
If you want the link to become a member, let me give it to you. Thank you. So the bottom lots will start turning green. Now, if I sell those, I make a small profit because they're the ones that come in first. If I sell the top lots, when we get to the top lots, because we will, because we're going to 90, because I've done the research and more people will buy when we, because of the rotation and crypto and everything else and the crash and everything else. So there it is. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Bang. Look at that. Gaining speed. Now, some people go, oh, it's an opportunity to buy. Not for me, it's not. Not for me, it's not. Not before a crash. I do not want to buy. See, you got to stand by your conviction. People go, oh, how do you know? I know. And I'll rather say I'm wrong than just change my mind unless the circumstances change. So as we start to pop up on the lots at the top, I can sell those. And why I sell those is I will pay off the margin. So I stop paying 4% interest. My margin's paid off, but I keep all of these. So in other words, all the recent purchases that I use margin, because I use margin down here. That was my cash up the top. And then when I ran out of cash, that was margin.
I can't believe this.
I keep the ones I paid margin
Potato
with.
Family 3958 has become a member. Pro member here, you saved me on XRP and SPS. Heart suit emoji.
You're welcome, mate. You're very welcome. I know you got a family and you showed me the other day that you bought your 16-year-old daughter a car with the profits you made. I'm really glad, and that's amazing. So I will sell the top lots. So it's like, I'll put it this way. It's like going into a shop and buying your favorite pair of jeans. Pair of Levi 501s. They're at $100. You know the value of them. You know what they provide you. You know you get 2-3 years of wear. You understand what you've bought. You like your Levi 501s. They are your favorite jeans. You buy them. Okay, fantastic. Then they say there's an 80%, there's a 20% discount. So you buy another pair of jeans at $80 because you know the value, and now the value is increased because it got them at a lower price. So you buy another pair of jeans at $80. They then do a 50% discount. You can now buy a pair of jeans at $50. You've now got 3 pairs, one at 100, one at 80, and one at 50. Think of your stocks in the same way. Now, you don't want all of those. You don't want 3 pairs of jeans because you've locked up capital. You've bought 3 pairs of jeans you don't need. You only need 1. But wouldn't it be great to keep the one you paid $50 for and take back the ones you paid 80 and 100? Be great, wouldn't it? Well, that is exactly what lot selling is. And if you don't have it, you can email your brokerage and request, this is the lot I want to sell. Because what you've done, you've bought one at 100, you've bought one at 80, and you bought one at 50. The one at 50 provides you more value because it's half the price than the one at 100. Think of your stock the same. It's going to give you a greater return. The asset is the same. Coca-Cola is still the same business. The pair of jeans is still the same pair of jeans. It's not performing better, but your future return and value, remember, price is what you pay and value is what you get. The value has been increased because you bought it at 50, half price. Now, you didn't know that sale was going to come up, but it did. You took advantage of it. But now you've overspent. You've borrowed money. You've got margin. So what you do is when it pops up, because it will pop up, because you know it's the right asset to be in at the right time. When it pops up to 100, you go back to the shop and you say, can I can I bring back this pair I paid $80 for? Yep. They give you a full refund. The one I bought at 100. Yep. They give you a full refund and you keep the one you paid for 50. Now then, go back to the position here. These are my lots. Not only have I now got the bottom, and remember I always say to you, I focus on always buying the bottom, and I always buy the bottom. I don't care about the top. I always buy the bottom, and this is how I get to the bottom. Because by selling that little blip at the top, freed up cash to buy more down here, and I'll keep resetting. Not only do I get the bottom, so I get guaranteed future benefit and return. On top of that, what I also get is a good tax position. What do I mean by that? Well, the ones right down here at the bottom are going to give me the greatest profit. Obviously, because I paid the lease for them. So they're going to give me the greatest tax gain as well, right? Well, the ones I sell at the top, I can sell for a wash to get my money back, a small profit to get minimum tax, or if I wanted to, I could offset my future gains by posting a loss. But you don't lose money on purpose. You buy and sell crypto for a tax loss because you buy it back at the same price. It gets around the 30-day wash rule. But you don't sell for losses on purpose to lose money. You do it strategically. And right now I don't need to sell for losses because it's going to go to 82. Now then, if I thought that a crash on Coca-Cola was imminent and I thought we were going to go a lot lower, like imminently, I could sell the top ones for a loss and I would benefit by buying when we drop 10% because I'd saved the money by selling before a drop to buy back more. I've not gained overall, but I've improved my position because it was going down. So I've accepted the inevitable. Don't just put your head under the bloody pillow and prayed and hopery. You recognize the climate had changed, so you decide to sell for a loss to buy back lower. Nothing wrong with that. However, you can't post that as a tax loss because you bought it inside the 30 days. You can only do that with crypto. And that loophole's going away soon. Anyway. Now, that's how tax lots work. So you sell the top to buy more at the bottom. You swap them out like the pair of jeans. That makes sense? All right. Now then, I had several other questions. Let me come back. Now, my portfolio looking lovely. I'm hardly down at all, right? This is great. Now, let me go back to, I've got more questions. Whoops. Hang on. Right. Did that. On crypto right now, you are seeing a little rebound. People are looking at that and going, oh, there you go. 68,000. That was the number I spoke about when Michael Saylor starts to sell more Bitcoin. So people are starting to buy. They see it as an opportunity. Maybe it is. Maybe a quick trade today. Maybe it is. I'm not buying it. And the reason why I'm not, and I'm pro Bitcoin, I'm pro XRP, I'm pro Ethereum. I bought it. I've owned it. I've made money out of it. I see the future. I get all of that. I'm not in the dark ages. However, because I believe a crash is coming, and it's not what happens today or tomorrow or next week, I'm always looking for the future. I'm always looking 10 trades down the line. I can't buy an asset which is so close now to a crash. It could be today, tomorrow, next week, but it's not going to be a year from now. It's very close. And when it happens, there's no warning. Bloomberg and CNBC won't tell you because their job is to always tell you it's an opportunity because it puts off their advertisers and their commercials. I don't do it. I don't have advertisers and commercials. That's the reason why. I tell you how it is, not how it satisfies a sponsor. Right? So I can't buy that as an opportunity because I can see it going to 50,000 before it goes to 100,000.
Edmoon_981A has become a member. How stock lending work. And thank you, Martin, for everything you do.
Thank you very much. So I don't see it as an opportunity. Right. Let me come on to the next questions. There were several super chats. Let me do another one. So, let's have a look. Right. So that was for James. James Rose. Did that answer your question, James? I cannot find a tax law option. Did that explain it all? James Rose, if you could come back to me in the chat, I'd much appreciate if you could come back to me in the chat. Did that provide you with any help service? I don't want to move on until I know everyone is happy, because no one gets left behind. Everybody, you have to have patience, but I don't want one person in the chat stressed. Did James Rose, did that help you? I don't know if James is watching anymore. Oh, yes, he is. There he is. Yes, thank you. Brilliant. Okay, so now we can move on to the next person. Right. Next one said, talk about the market crash. Can you please remind us when that might occur and why? All right, well, no one, this was for Andrew Bannis. No one can tell you if there's going to be a crash, when there's going to be a crash. Nobody can. And those that do are trying to get clicks, and they're trying to excite you or sell you something or whatever. You can see, look, Bitcoin, people thought that was a buying opportunity. It got rejected straight away. Market knows a crash is coming. I don't want to buy Bitcoin, and it's just bloody stupid. Anyway, so the way I know and believe a crash is coming, and remember, I don't know it. No one knows it, right? But these signs that we are going to have a crash are inevitable, in my opinion. I can't say that because you can't say for certain, but I think it's 100% certain. Why? Well, first of all, the economy is not the stock market. Your president or your elected official, politician could tell you everything in the world is great. That doesn't mean anything. It's just noise and rah-rah. No one has and that's not important. I'm just looking at the numbers. I love numbers, and my education and numbers, I went all the way. So I love numbers, all right? So I look at numbers, I look facts, I don't look at rah-rah and noise, I don't look at X. I never even look at X. I post on my X, but I never look on social media. If I want to know something, I read the balance sheet, I read the prospectus, I pick up the phone, I speak to a CEO, I speak to people that work there, I speak to Robinhood, I explain all that, right? So I look at the value, like I've explained with a pair of jeans, a can of Coke worth $1, you wouldn't pay $10, all of these things. And I try to find the value. As an investor, you're looking to buy something with a guaranteed, of them as you can, guaranteed future return. Is it undervalued? Because if you pay too much for something, you're never going to make any money on it. Price is what you pay, and value is what you get. This is why patience is the biggest thing. You can wait for 10 years to buy a stock, and when you buy with conviction. I've done it several times over the last 4 years. All in on the war, all in on the Liberation Day. And the reason why we're going to have a crash is because we are in the worst position we have ever been at any time ever in the history of the stock market on half a dozen metrics. The amount of debt, the amount of overbuying, the amount of prediction markets, guessing, gambling. Remember, Bitcoin was formed out of fear in COVID. That's when Bitcoin exploded. That's when it really started to get traction. Crypto exploded out of bad, not COVID, I beg your pardon. It was back in the 08 crash. Crypto, that's when it was, 2008. That's when it first started. Every innovation that involves speculation comes out of a moment in fear in history. Always. Because human beings are built to behave the same way over and over again. Human beings are lazy. Human beings look for the easy option. Human beings want to get rich for doing nothing. Don't beat yourself up. It's who you are. It's the way you're built. Fight against it. This is why I started today's show all about the new standards for this service. You've got to fight against it. You've got to work harder. So, right now, education in investing is at an all-time low. You may love Trump. You may hate Trump. We're not a political channel. But right now, the level of education around what Trump is saying and the politics is the lowest it's ever been. We've got more lies than ever. Politicians have always lied. But now we have fact checks like every second. It's like lie. I discovered this year for the very first time on Bloomberg, CNBC, Press Room, White House, I heard for the very first time in the history of the world, a president and representatives and politicians using the F-bomb live in interviews, the S-bomb, swearing, abuse. I mean, like, I've never heard it on live press conferences. The standards have dropped. People are being manipulated. The whole thing to do with greed and so on is being fed to us, and because we're lowering our standards and we're allowing it to happen, it's happening more and more frequently. We now accept it's okay for a politician to stand on a stage and use the F-bomb and swear. It just doesn't even matter anymore. You can curse people, you can run people down, you can do whatever you want now. It doesn't matter. And all of this has fed into where we are today. Prediction markets, the stock market, Robinhood has turned into a casino. And this is very, very dangerous. Remember, those that use Robinhood, all of us here, including me, are just trying to make some money. The people that run it are not about money. They're about power and control. Money comes when you have control. Real money, I mean. Not whether you can pay the mortgage or not, whether you can buy a new car or not. Real power and real control is what they're focusing on. Not you making money on the stock market. None of that is important. And right now, because of the debt crisis, we can never pay our debt off. The only way we do it is print more money, which is more inflation, which means the stock market goes up. So everyone goes, brilliant, I win again. You don't win nothing. Inflation has gone up. Your money has been devalued. Have you got any real buying power more than before? Well, if you're out of the market and you're just holding cash or sticking it in the bank, you are buggered. You are absolutely buggered. You're going to get poorer and poorer and poorer over time. Those that own the businesses are going to get richer and richer and richer, because even if the business goes sideways, inflation means that the price of the asset goes up. Your cash goes down. And because of that, that's what fueled the fear out of 2008 for crypto. Crypto was born out of 2008, the crash. That's where it came from. Why? Why does it all? If you look all through history, any innovation that promises future returns comes out of fear, comes out of human fear, human greed, human desire. Oh, the S&P's going up now. Virgin Galactic's still going 34% now. Bloody hell, look at that. Bloody awful, right? It always comes out of fear. So if you look at inflation, now the president will tell you inflation is coming down. Well, again, we're not a political channel. You decide. Is inflation coming down? No, it's not. And if it was, the Fed would have reduced rates. Now, those that love Trump and think everything he says is brilliant, will say, no, rates should come down, and they'll go Sleepy Joe, and they'll go too late Powell, and they'll go all this stuff. The new Fed, who Trump picked, is scheduled to raise rates later in the year. He's not reducing rates either, because they can't, because inflation is in fact going back up again. And the price of the fuel, the oil crisis, has not yet been felt. It takes months to filter through. So we're going to see, and we are already seeing around the world, food shortages, interest rates going up, can't reduce them, inflation, and much bigger problems. Fear, people buying crypto, over-leveraging. People are more in debt now than they've ever been. People are spending, but they're spending on credit cards. Credit card debt is getting to maximum levels again. We've got Japan, the carry trade about to unwind. I've said that's going to happen now. I said September, October, later this year. They're raising rates. All the cheap money that America has borrowed is all going to have to be paid back in margin and all going to collapse. So there are so many. In a few moments, I will give you, I wasn't going to do this, but I think, and I was going to end this actually. This was only supposed to be a short video about my new services on YouTube. But I think now we might as well continue with this deeper discussion of why the market's going to crash with some evidence of it from someone I respect dearly. So I'll do that in a second. So that's part of the answer. Andrew Banners, I hope that helped, but we're going to do more now, right? What's a rotation trade from defense? Okay, was that okay, Andrew? Did that give you some information? But I'm going to give you a lot more. I'm going to fill in the blanks in a moment. So I hope that was helpful. But defense has asked, what's a rotation trade? So a rotation trade. So what we've got is several sectors. You can focus on growth. You can focus on defensive. I don't mean like bombs and missiles. I mean defensive as a stock that it supports the market, where people go, things that we always buy, things that we always need. Thank you, Andrew. I'll provide some more in a moment. All right, a lot more. Stand by. I'm gonna do something I wasn't going to do today, but I'm going to do it anyway. So a rotation trade is when you can see it happening now. Coca-Cola is where we go when people are fearful, as long as the value's right, of course. It's not a free stock and a free thing. But Coca-Cola was going up this morning when the S&P went down because people sell risk-on assets. The S&P is nearly all risk-on assets with the Mag 7 over 30%. They sell that and they move into rotate into a defensive play. Coca-Cola goes up. Now Coca-Cola is going down. The S&P is going up. It's a rotation trade. So you could go one to the other. Now, if you use those lots, and I've been doing it all year. You've seen me do it. I've sold the S&P, taken a profit. I bought Coca-Cola on the way down. You've seen me do it. However, because I now believe a crash is imminent, I don't want to be in the S&P because that will fall harder than Coca-Cola, and the money will go into Coca-Cola. So as an investor, I'm trying to be ahead of the game, and that's hard because not only is it hard to do to predict the future and be ready for it, it's the thing you don't want to do because it's the painful thing. It's the hard thing. And I'm also doing it live on a show where everyone's watching and judging me. That makes it even more difficult, right? Because I'm actually doing it live on the show, live in front of everybody, feeling somehow responsible. And I'm not. Of course I'm not. I'm not responsible for the market. I'm not responsible for what you do. However, I do care. I care deeply, and I want to see what I'm often reminded, actually, because people will send me a voice message or a message on Discord or on YouTube, and they'll say, I had one the other day. I had two. I had one of our friends this morning say he's won recently, and he said, thanks ever so much, Martyn, and I bought my daughter a first car. There was one guy who said, I'm a chicken farmer and I'm just trying to provide for my family. I appreciate the show. So I feel the weight of responsibility, even though it's not my responsibility. I do care. So it's very difficult to do all of this stuff because it's easy to buy the trend. Oh, yeah, it would have been really easy to bought Virgin Galactic with everybody. Oh, yeah, jump on in, Martyn. Everyone was going, come on, Martyn, join us. I said, no. It's a terrible thing to do. I'm not going to do it. It's going to dump in a minute. Well, there it is. Now you've lost 50% of what you had just 2 days ago. It was at $9. You could have doubled your position now if you'd sold like we said. Well, guess who's taking your money? The insiders. The retail has been stuffed again. So I'm not going to join that club. And that would have been the easy trade. Everyone's going, come on, buy, it's going up. No, because I knew what was coming next. Now, you might say, I missed out on some profit. Well, of course I bloody did. I was telling you to buy at $2. He went from 2 to 9. How much money would I have made? But I'd have been guessing. And it doesn't matter where I am today. It's where I am in 10 years that matters. Because if I guess and I win one time and lose another, I'm going to be losing in 5-10 years from now. I don't want to lose. I want to keep winning. I want to keep beating the market. I've done it for 3 years in a row. So you don't win by guessing. You don't win by gambling. You win today, you lose tomorrow. You win today, you lose tomorrow. But if you keep winning, like I used the example, if you double a penny every single day for 30 days, in 30 days, you have got over $1 million. And all you did was double a penny. But if you guess and gamble and speculate, you win today, you lose tomorrow. How many people that have won big on Bitcoin or crypto have actually got today any money? Most that you hear about said, I went out and bought a Ferrari. Then they wrapped it round a tree. Most bought a Ferrari, then realised they can't actually afford to maintain it. It's thousands of dollars just to get it repaired or replace the tyres. And it depreciates. Whereas boring old me buying the S&P and Coca-Cola, I've gone from $5,000 to nearly 800 grand. Now, despite all my margin, despite all the positions and all the downside of it, everyone getting wiped out today on their crypto and everyone getting wiped out today on their Virgin Galactic, how does my portfolio look? Well, I was nearly at, 730,000 from 5 grand? Let's look now. 717. What do you see? It's hardly affected me at all. Despite all of the margin, despite all of it, I'm down a little bit. But the most important point is, I'm still in the game. I'm still here. I'm still in the game. That is the key. Most today on crypto are margin called and wiped out. Most are in Virgin Galactic are margin called and wiped out. I'm still up from 5 grand to 717. I've got more Coca-Cola on this dip than I've ever had in my life. With all the margin, 800 grand. When it goes up, I'm going straight to $1 million. The target I set myself, I will achieve it. While all the guessing and all the gambling turns to nothing. And the stuff that you say you bought with the money is already gone and disappeared and worn out and broken and stands for nothing. Will you be there at the end of the day when you actually
I can't believe
need
this.
the money?
At Robert Thorpe 2039 has become a member.
Wow, another new member. Lots of members today joining our channel. That's amazing. Right, so now what I'm going to do is play you this. I wasn't going to do this today, but I'm going to do it because I think this is really important. This is somebody I really respect. Some of you will say he's just a silly old man. He's a very, very, very successful investor over many, many years, studies, very knowledgeable. And he was interviewed the other day and on another channel, and I thought it was great to share with you. And I was going to make this into its own video. But as we are all here this morning and we've had a good conversation and hopefully it's been helpful to everybody, what we're going to do is I'm going to play it in its entirety. So sit back and relax. There's a lot of it. And this will explain to you where we're about to go, why I think we're about to crash. This is not even it. This is just the beginning. Okay? I think you can learn a lot from this. I think you'll find this very, very useful, and we can stop and start it and we can discuss it. And I think I was going to make it into a video, but we're all here. This live stream was supposed to be about me telling you about the new services. I was going to take the day off, get me a haircut, tidy the house, and come back tomorrow. So we're going to finish up with this, and then we're going to start tomorrow. If you were here at the beginning, you know what the video was all about. I explained it all. This was only supposed to be a 10-minute video. So sit back and relax. Get ready to absorb lots of very important, complex information. You ready? Okay. Here we go. That's a good start, isn't it? What have I just done there? Bear with me. Bloody great start. Okay. I know what I did wrong. I've got to do this. Try that again. Okay. Sit back and relax. There's quite a lot to go through. It's going to take some time, but I think it's valuable. And it's what I want to listen to. It's what I want to learn from. And you can join me for this or not. There we go. Okay, I had to make some adjustments there. Okay, let's make a start. This is Jeremy Grantham, co-founder and chief investment strategist of GMO LLC. Important stuff. And let's break all this down. You ready? Okay, let's do it now.
Excuse me. The best possible reason, which was I was looking to have a good time. And I just graduated from business school and I'd bought some time going into management consulting. And you don't have to be very smart to realize that's a bit of a waste of time. And so I spent a year asking my friends from my class what business was the best.
99 cents through Super Chat. Martyn, you are an absolutely amazing human being and a bright beacon of light. Keep being a great person.
Where was the most fun? And by a huge amount, that was investing. It was a little small cap shooting star market. And that's a lot of fun always. And since they were all beginning analysts, they were there and they were having so much fun, I couldn't wait to join them. And so I did a fairly professional campaign with lots of help, got a list of 50 people to apply to and kind of worked my way through. Had a couple of very interesting job offers, a very fancy hedge fund dude who wore pinstripe suits and neckerchiefs, and he was everyone's cool hero and came and talked to the Harvard Business School students. And another one was in London, also very enterprising. And both of them were held up by boring real world things like registration of a new fund. They weren't going to have me on board and pay my rent until the fund was registered. And it went on. And finally, I thought, well, I better move anyway. And I had a fairly prosaic offer from a mutual fund group in Boston called Keystone, which at the time was 1.6 billion versus Fidelity's 1.7, if you can believe that.
Wow.
1.7 billion. I'm sure they have inflows and outflows many times that every day now. But Keystone lasted a few more years and fizzled out, and Fidelity inherited the world. I went to Fidelity, interviewed, and the guy interviewing me was so hyper that he had one of those early machines, Bunker Ramos, they were called. And as he talked to me with one eye, he was checking all his stocks with the other eye.
Oh, how funny.
And it was terrible. Didn't have the nerve to walk out, but I should have done probably. And anyway, so I got a job offer at Keystone and went there. And sure enough, investing was a lot of fun.
Well, it's been the right decision, right? And I'm really curious because I like to interview older investors because we've seen more cycles. But the only other person
A
that
Defense
lived
89
through...
tip $2 Canadian through Super Chat. You're muted when you talk.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I forgot about that. Yes, I was terribly sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Thank you very much for letting me know. All right.
Through the 73, 74 crash as an investor was Mario Gabelli. And for some reason, he wouldn't talk about it. I don't know why. It was...
Oh, that was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. We used to semi-joke that the main problem in 73, 74 was getting your weary ass to work. Left foot forward, right foot forward. I mean, everyone was slightly depressed. The little guys went down, the big guys went down, the quality went down, the junk went down, everything went down, rotating week by week, lower and lower. Oh, my God, the big chemical companies yield 6%. Surely that will put the brake on. And it appeared to for a week or two, and and now they 7%, 8%, surely 9%.
So we're talking about now a previous crashes. We're going to go through history and what it actually means, what it looks like, what it feels like, because everybody here hasn't actually experienced a crash unless they're of this sort of age. Or 2008's a long time, and COVID was some sort of crash, but most people came into the market since then, our audience at least, and they've never actually experienced this and think, you know, it's not a big. I keep winning and everything's great, and crypto is responsible for a lot for that. It's made people think that they can actually win all the time, but I think you really need to hear this.
And finally, things like Celanese, Monsanto, and so on were yielding 10%. And finally, that did put the brake on. And at a lowly 7.5 PE and 10% yield on the big industrials, it stopped going down. But everyone was pulverized, and there was quite rapid inflation. So in real terms, I think the market went down about 65% and took no prisoners. It was just bad, much worse than anything since then. And really, by everyone's agreement, the worst one, second only to the Great Depression.
And the setup going into that, there's a number of parallels today, aren't there?
Well, there was an oil crisis. Every serious spike in oil has been followed by a recession and a stock market decline. And that one was not only a real spike in oil, the biggest of all spikes.
So listen to what he said there. And this is true. I've checked this. All crashes follow an oil crisis. And the oil crisis we've got now is potentially worse than any other oil crisis we've had in history. And it doesn't matter if, I don't know what the options are for Trump now, because Iran are not going to do a deal. They've got more power and control now than they've ever had. So what happens now? Do you nuke the country? That was an option. Remember, I mentioned that right at the back. That was discussed, and we had Trump with his hand on the football. Do you nuke the country? Start World War III properly? Probably most people would say not a good idea. Do you walk away? Well, if you walk away, oil stays high and inflation does filter through. People will say, oh, but it doesn't matter because America are a net exporter. Doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Fuel will go up in America and you'll pay more, all right? It won't become cheaper for you, at all. That's not going to happen. Is there any sign of that so far? No, there is no sign of that. Let's carry on with this.
The two-pronged effort by the Middle Eastern powers to deliberately drive the price up, and lines of cars at the gas stations. But there was, out of that, rapid inflation. And out of that, very high rates. So the rates were going up as the stocks went down. And eventually the yield on stocks peaked in around 82, 16% for the 30-year bond. And the joke there was, you can see a T-bill peaking at 13 if inflation is over 10 and a bit. But the 30-year bond to peak at 16? And you can understand the 3-point premium over T-bills. But what you can't understand is that for 30 years, they would price in.
Now, this is essential to understand, and it's something that retail investors never get involved with. Those that are on Robinhood never get involved with. You don't think about the bond market. The bond market is more powerful, more destructive, and more important than the stock market, way more than the crypto market. But you never think about it. It's not sexy. You're not interested, are you? You're not interested in buying bonds. But bonds control everything. And what we're seeing now in Japan with the rates and the carry trade unwind coming is the bond market will destroy the stock market and the crypto market. And as we've been speaking about it this morning, it's still happening. The S&P is pumping again. It was selling off this morning. It's going up again. It's trying to fight back. It's just insane. Look at Virgin Galactic has now just basically gone right back to where it started. It was at $9. It's 50% wiped out now. It's incredible when you think about it, right? If you'd sold at the top there, you've got crypto literally breaking. If we show you Bitcoin, 68 was the number, was 67 now. And people thought a bit of a rally, look, and it's sold straight off again. XRP is being just totally taken down the toilet. 80 cents, 50 cents, who knows where it's going to go. Some people will see it as an opportunity, and there might be a bounce here. But listen to what he says about the bond market, the one thing that no one is paying any attention to because it's boring. You don't want to look at it. You don't even understand it, so you ignore it. And it's everything right now.
The highest level of inflation that had occurred, ever. And that's quite a reveal, isn't it? Because what it says is the bond market is not predicting the future. A group of economists had just decided that long-term inflation was 4.5. Of course, it was less than that, but their vision was 4.5. So a 16% long bond appeared to represent 11.5 real for 30 years. It was obvious that what the bond market was doing by then was just extrapolating the condition of the
66 tipped £1.99 through Super Chat. Are you bullish for Ethereum/crypto in Q4 2026?
I would say I am bullish long-term crypto, but I don't want to be in crypto heading to a crash, because a crash will come first. The crypto crash will come first, then the market will go down. And then we can reassess it. But it also may lose confidence. If it does have an almighty 80% crash, who the hell would want to buy it back? So how would you convince people? Remember, it doesn't produce any money. It doesn't make any money. So how if XRP goes down to 20, 30 cents and Bitcoin goes down to, Bitcoin goes down to 50,000 and then keeps going, how do you convince people it's the future? People will change and they'll just focus on something else. And hopefully the level of education will mature and people will start going, you know what, I want to buy a business that actually makes money. I actually want to use my brain. So I don't know. I mean, again, you're just guessing, or we're guessing the future, and I don't guess. So let's go back to this. I hope you're enjoying this. Let me know in the chat, are you enjoying this? Are you finding this helpful? I think this is a fantastic... You wait until we get into it. This is amazing.
Day, as if it would stay that way forever, even though, as Keynes would say, even though we know from personal experience that it's not the case. He argued that extrapolation is something we adopt to deal with the difficult times. And his point was the cardinal rule, never be wrong on your own. If you extrapolate today's conditions and everybody does it, you're all on the same page. And that's the thing that really matters in career risk. All have the same thoughts, all do the same thing, and no one loses their job. What it says is the bond market is not predicting the future. A group of economists had just decided that long-term inflation was 4.5. Of course, it was less than that, but their vision was 4.5. So a 16% long bond appeared to represent 11.5 real for 30 years. Whew. And it was obvious that what the bond market was doing by then was just extrapolating the condition of the day as if it would stay that way forever, even though, as Keynes would say, even though we know from personal experience that it's not the case. He argued that extrapolation is something we adopt to deal with the difficult times. And his point was the cardinal rule, never be wrong on your own. If you extrapolate today's conditions and everybody does it, you're all on the same page. And that's the thing that really matters in career risk. All have the same thoughts, all do the same thing, and no one loses their job.
Yeah. Well, do you think we're doing the same extrapolation today? That hasn't changed.
Absolutely. Every bull market is peak profit margins. 1929, 2000, 2022, and today, and almost in the housing bubble of 07, you have very, very strong earnings. And profit margins always used to be mean reverting. High returns attracts capital, drives them down, and vice versa. And you would think, therefore, that if profit margins are abnormally high, you'd be very careful about the PE you apply. And that is not how the real world works. 1929, peak profits times peak PE, 21 times earnings. Then the PE drops for a long time, and then it reappears in the Nifty 50. 1972, 21 times earnings again, times peak profit margins. And then on to 2000, world record profit margins times 35 times earnings. So they celebrated the new high in profit margins by multiplying by a new high in PE. And this is double counting of the worst variety. So in 1974, you have oil crushed margins multiplied by 7.5 times earnings. Then in 82, you multiplied by 8 times earnings, crushed margins. And then even more recently, in 2009, you had, because of the great financial crash, you had a dramatic drop in earnings times the lowest PE we'd had for 22 years. So this is why Schiller found that if you were clairvoyant about the actual earnings into the future, earnings and dividends, and you discounted them back, that the real stock market was about 17 times more volatile than was justified by the fairly steady path of actual earnings and dividends that we were on paper meant to be discounting.
All this making sense? I hope it is. If you've got any questions, this is a very important interview. I think I wasn't going to present it like this. I was going to put a video together, but I've enjoyed the conversation this morning, and the market is starting to crash now. So this just seemed, even though, again, the thumbnail doesn't make sense, the title doesn't make sense, we're here together, the people that matter, the Discordians, the Electra members are all here witnessing it in real time. I thought it would just be, just play it, you know. Maybe I don't get any views, maybe no one cares, but, you know, look at that. This makes sense to you? Something that look right? Let's carry on. It's going to take a while. We've got a bit to go yet.
So it was clear we were not doing that at all. We were constantly extrapolating today's conditions, much too high, much too low, riding the cycle. And you would think, once you've established that, and you can easily prove it, you would think how easy it is to beat the market, but of course it isn't. Because the career risk involved of playing the logical game of going short the bubbles and long the bus is nerve-wracking from a business point of view, because the uncertainty in the cycle, both up and down, is longer than the client's patience, particularly in a bull market. In a bull market, the client's patience contracts, and you get fired before you're right. And therefore, I like to say that's why you will never hear a major sensible firm, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and so on. They will never tell you to get your tail out of the market.
Did you hear that? CNBC, Bloomberg, hedge funds, investment managers never tell you to get out, a crash is coming. It's always an opportunity. Everything I've been telling you for 5 years, you're hearing in this interview presented in a different way. Thank you for everyone who's supporting the channel today. Thank you for everyone who's gifting memberships. And we're going to continue. There's a lot. There's a lot to cover. So I want to keep going. I'm going to keep stopping and present this to you. I can't
believe this.
I'm going to mute the memberships because I want you to hear what's being said here. This can help you a lot. Okay, let's carry on.
They never have. They never will. It's simply a terrible commercial strategy, and they will never do it. So the individual is always led to believe, however high the market is, that it's kind of okay.
I can't believe this.
And of course it isn't.
But it's almost worse today because you've got all these commentators telling you that you're guaranteed to make 8% per annum by investing in S&P 500, and irrespective of the valuation.
Yeah, but you always had that. 1929, a very famous article said that basically all you had to invest was, $50,000 and you were rich for life. I think Ladies' Home Journal, and the market is just a buy and hold. And Jeremy Siegel, now Dean of Wharton, wrote an article almost identical in the tech bubble of 2000. That you should just ignore the cycles and just tuck the stocks away and get rich. And of course, if you have a 50-year horizon, tucking stocks away and getting rich will do just fine.
Sure.
Because the market really does compound a little higher than makes sense. The market return is a bit higher than appears to be justified by anything approaching logic. So a real is just a very handsome return. On the other hand, half of all the time is spent climbing back to the old high. So 1929 doesn't get back there until about 1955. And then the next crash of the Nifty 50 in 72 does.
So what you're hearing now is when I spoke about dollar cost averaging, just staying in the market, just buying all the time whenever it goes down, and you'll always be up. If you take your profit, like I said, when it's overvalued, overbought, reposition, that's the way to make money. Now, like he said, if you've got a lot of money, if you earn a lot of money, you're not smart, you just have a good job. And you do it for 30, 40, 50 years, you'll be up. Not because you're smart, because you have a good job and you just lived long enough. That does not make you a great investor. That means you showed up for work, you earned a decent amount of money, and you just saved it forever. You collected stocks. You didn't invest in stocks. That's very, very different. And understanding how the market works for most people is essential, because most of us are either starting too late or we don't have enough money and we need to win. And guessing and gambling does not work. And long term, you will lose. And if you keep thinking the markets are going to go up forever, you will lose. You'll be manipulated. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The S&P is getting excited again. Makes no sense. Absolutely makes no sense. Virgin Galactic, all the money was taken away from you yesterday. Insiders, we shared it with you. Palantir, no value. Gold, people buying gold today. Amazon, look at this. Even defensives at the moment, because people are getting excited about what comes next. It's a mistake, huge mistake. And they were walking straight into it again. But this just shows you that just staying in the market and doing nothing, not pivoting, not adjusting, is the stupidest thing you could do. Here it is.
Doesn't get back there until 85, 86. And it turns out it's almost exactly half the time. So people think you're going up always. It's not so. You're going up half the time to new highs, basically, and half the time you're waiting to recover from some decent setback.
And how long will it take us to recover from the next bust? Because we're at quite high levels, don't you think?
I think the most sensible measures of the market, and I always tout Hussman. I've never spoken to him or ever even met him, but his data is very much like ours used to be when I worked on it day after day, and he's tested everything, and the most reliable forecaster is a cousin of Warren Buffett's.
Sorry, I was muted again. I beg your pardon. I've got a new muting device. I'm not quite, not perfect with it yet. I'm getting there. So I apologize. I bought this new equipment and I haven't quite perfected it yet. Anyway, so I talked to you about the Warren Buffett indicator. It's common sense. It's basic, obvious common sense. 150% GDP. Makes no sense. You wouldn't do it if you were buying a car. You'd understand the value of the car. You wouldn't do it if you were buying a house, or you wouldn't do it if you were buying a pair of jeans like we spoke about earlier. You understand that value, but no one does that when it comes to the stock market. They just think it's going to go up forever. And using the Warren Buffett indicator isn't that clever. It's actually very simple, but the simple answer is very often the right one. Listen to this. This will blow you away. I've been saying this now for 5 years.
Total price of the market compared to GDP. And on that basis, Hussman would say the most reliable indicator that he has says that this is the highest market in history, above 2000, and which is the contender. So we have the highest market. And the terrible thing about peak markets is they don't predict much better than average times, economic and otherwise. They are always followed by the worst times. So 1929 priced higher than it's ever been, predicting, you would think on paper, wonderful times followed by the Depression. 1972, you would think is predicting something good, but you get a very nasty recession, oil crisis, and collapsing stocks. And so it goes on. The tech bubble is followed by a really decent-sized recession as it breaks. And just a loss of market cap in 1929 and all the bubbles also compounds the problems. So great market peaks like this are traditionally followed by the worst of times. So don't kid yourself. Now, the great exception is 2022. In 2022, all the conditions of a major bubble are met, and it breaks, and the S&P drops 25%, the Mag 7 drops 40, growth stocks about 30, 35, and the bond market has the worst year in its history. So 22 is an ugly year. But then in November, ChatGPT comes out. And whatever you say about Chat and the rest of the boys, it's pretty obvious that it's a game changer. It's a life changer. It's important. It's an important idea. It may make us all ineffably rich. It may destroy us all, take our jobs, or even inadvertently stomp on us. So, but it's important. And so I kind of get it. And it's the first bubble that was interrupted by anything that powerful. It would take a war, a giant virus, or AI. They're the kind of things that will do that. And they happen not to have done it until, well, you could argue that World War II interrupted the second leg of the Depression.
Yeah.
There are quite a few people who think that's the case. And this was the same. We had a nice recession going there from my perspective. And the economy was weakening. And that was interrupted in turn by massive investments in AI.
Let's take a break, just a moment. Let's just come back into the chat. Has anybody got anything to add? Are you all enjoying this? Could you just let me know in the chat, are you enjoying this? Today's show was supposed to be a 10-minute video, 10-minute live stream, telling you about how I've let you down, the new services that I'm now going to provide, how things are going to be. I was going to take the rest of the day off and reset and come back tomorrow. But we ended up, this situation broke. I haven't changed it to a crash live event or anything. I'm not trying to capitalize from it. I don't even want all the bros and all the idiots jumping in the channel. I'm just sharing with you what I predicted for 2 years, and now just sharing with you this event I wanted to make its own video out of. But here we are. Here we are. So again, I'm trying to demonstrate providing the best service to you. This isn't helping me. I'm safe as houses. I'm in Coca-Cola, which is where I want to be. I'm all in a margin. I'm happy to be here. I'm not selling. No one's watching. Only a couple hundred people watching the video because they're all watching the bro channels talking about the market collapsing. We're just here because you're here, and continue. So yes, you're enjoying it. All right. Okay. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Here we go.
I mean, capital investments all over the place. Second only to the railroads, a very big fraction of GDP, an increment of 2% on GDP was just investments into AI. And if you think that we were drifting down, animal spirits, allocanes were weakening. Had that kept going, we could have easily fallen into at least a mild recession, and the market could have gone down another 20% or so. And I would have just about been happy and given it a check. But with AI, the Mag 7 went up. They didn't just go up, they kind of doubled. The rest of the market looking at them in shock, still drifting off a little bit for the first half year and then flat for another 4 or 5 months. And finally, almost a year later, they threw in the towel and decided that the Mag 7, after all, knew what they were doing, and there was a bull market. And back to a new high we came, and here we are. And the thing about this one, though, is that the global environment, I think, is the worst it's ever been. Technically, with clairvoyance, you knew that other things had been worse. You knew if World War II arrived, it would be worse. But in real life, you didn't know that. You didn't know that World War I was coming, or you didn't know that World War II was coming. It took odd behavior, archdukes being shot, and Hitler invading Poland. If he hadn't done that, we might have muddled through without a war. But this time, we have the Ukraine, the Middle East, really risky enterprises, Taiwan lurking over everybody's head. You know that trade wars are way on, tariff craziness beyond belief, etc. International trade has really carried the world since World War II, getting bigger and bigger fraction of everything. Everyone benefits, and now we're bound and determined, it appears, to have that go into reverse. So you have geopolitics, global trade, and then...
I want to comment on that. You just heard about the tariffs, and now it's going in reverse. This is the part I don't understand. Again, we're not a political channel. We're just telling you how it is. It doesn't work. It never has and never will do. Thank you for the support that the channel is getting. I appreciate you all so much. Donald Trump says America first, stuff the rest of the world. Doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because these are your customers. You're saying stuff to your customers. A bit like this morning when I said to you, I apologize. I need to provide a better service. I need to be on time. The shows need to be structured. You need to know when things are starting. It's the same thing. You cannot be egotistical and think we're the greatest country in the world. We can do what we want. Sod everybody else. Let's threaten tariffs everywhere. As long as America wins, you don't win because here we are. And a recession is round the corner. Forget inflation. Forget crashes. We've got a recession as well. Maybe even a depression. And you need your customers. You can't just go, we'll do what we want. No man's an island. I can't have this channel without my audience. And it's exactly the same thing. We all rely on each other. And right now, that's been completely forgotten. So... we are in a crazy situation. Let's continue.
Behind that, you have climate change. I've been worried about climate change for 25 years, but it's only in the last 2 years it became big enough to actually impact global GDP, I think by about 0.5% a year. And the number of $1 billion plus disasters have gone through the roof. Storms, floods, droughts, fires, and continues to rise, as it will. And now, critically, insurance is becoming higher priced and, in some cases, impossible to get. Insurance really gets to the heart. It's very central, shall we say, to capitalism.
But we'll come back to climate change, because I do want to talk about the work of your foundation. But you said that the global environment is the worst ever. I mean, we've obviously got a potential threat to energy supplies, and that is... Why do you think the market has kind of shrugged this off? I mean, the VIX has collapsed, the volatility has collapsed, and people seem quite relaxed that we're going to sort of muddle our way through the Middle Eastern situation. But the economy was already pretty fragile going into this. I mean,
we don't do that kind of stuff very well. If you go back to the late summer of 29, business was turning down very rapidly, but the data lagged a couple of months, so people didn't know. They were very relaxed and about as optimistic as they had ever been in history. And then wham, the growth rate is in reverse, profits are falling. What a surprise. We're not good at predicting turning points. Now, actually, I have a theory on that. I don't think it's a bug. I think it's built into the system.
Yeah.
And here's why. The great enterprises, the organizations, non-profit and corporate, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of employees, by definition, they are led by people with very high political skills. Keynes was really clear. The main thing you have to know if you're a politician is never be wrong on your own. Be wrong in company, fine, but never risk being wrong on your own. And therefore, at any major turning point, you must expect that.
And I'm going to add a point there. I am very happy to be wrong on my own. I've decided by all the information that I have and the positions that I've taken to state the truth. Politicians don't do it. The TV doesn't do it. Broadcasters don't do it. They all do the same thing together so they can never be wrong. I've spoken about that a lot, where hedge funds and all these financial advisors, they all do the same thing. I've talked about meeting in the same pub because they all can't get sued and all can't be wrong if they all do it together. That's rubbish. So I don't do it. I tell you how it is. And I'm right now, I'm here on my own telling you what I think is going to happen. And I've done it with my own money. And I would rather be wrong than, even though I don't think I am, I'd rather be wrong and say I'm wrong, I got it wrong, and be laughed at and go, you're an idiot, than just to go along with the noise and the idiots, quite frankly, just to be popular, just to make silly videos, pointless videos, which don't provide any value to anybody. So I'm going to tell you how it is. And that's not how the world works. Let's continue.
They will not call it.
Of course.
Doesn't matter what they believe. The engine room may be screaming at them that there's a major vulnerability, but the spokespeople will never see it. They'll always wait and see what other people are doing and then jump. Not just the stock market, everything, real life. And so no one ever calls turning points.
You make an important point.
By the way, let me just add, and therefore an individual who has, in some cases, much less career risk is actually free to look at the data, to see the giant bubbles appearing. You have to be brain dead not to see it and act on it yourself. An institution cannot do that, will not advise you to do that. But you as an individual can see that.
In the book, you make an important point, I think, that bubbles have a serious net adverse economic impact because they're usually followed by a capex bust. So there's an economic impact from the bursting of the bubble. Why do you think that's not more widely understood by the regulators? And why don't they try to temper enthusiasm? Because, I mean, Greenspan, everybody, talks about, reverent tones about Greenspan.
Not me.
But not you. But I mean, why don't people realize this?
I mean, we could have a podcast on the strange behavior of Homo sapiens. I mean, we are a weird group. But Greenspan, I wrote a paper called Feet of Clay. I thought he was laughably wrong.
Yeah.
In fact, my first confrontation with Alan Greenspan, he had his investment advisory firm, and he went around selling his consulting service. And it was so bad that when I'm feeling mean, I used to say he was the only person who was laughed out of business. I mean, he was used as a joke. He was so bad. Then he kind of disappeared, boot licking down in Washington, and then reappears as president of the Fed, chairman of the Fed. What the hell is that? Guy was proven incompetent. And not a serious financial expert.
Any comments to anything you're hearing, folks? I mean, I think there's huge life lessons being learned here today. I hope it's providing value. You asked me earlier, would I be buying this dip on the way down? Not a chance in hell. Look how much I'm down today. Just 0.79. And remember, that's amplified because of margin. I'm down double what I would be. So I'm only actually down 0.3. Coca-Cola has hardly moved. It's doing its job. It's not doing enough yet, but the time will come when it will. The businesses that I said that are going to do well are doing well. I'm hardly down at all. The S&P is still buying because people are stupid. People are buying the S&P because it's what they do with their 401ks. They're not even watching. They're not even listening. They're going to work and they're told by their stupid hedge fund and their stupid financial advisor to just keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. So the S&P just keeps going up and up and up until it doesn't. And when it goes, I'm waiting and I'm ready and I'm prepared. And I don't understand why Greg Abel has just gone out and paid the top price yesterday for Google. I'm like, you're Warren Buffett's replacement and you've just bought Google at the top. The smartest people on the planet are doing it wrong. There's no words to explain it. Human beings are stupid, lazy, greedy, selfish. Let's continue.
But by any means. And he got everything wrong. And he invented the asymmetric Fed behavior, which is, if anything goes wrong, we'll bail you out. If anything goes right, you're on your own. You know, wonderful. We'll socialize the costs, privatize the gains. And Bernanke, Yellen were acolytes. The present guy, not so bad, I think. But in any case, we had this big block in which we tried every trick we knew to create chain link bubbles by letting everybody know that the Fed had your back. Why wouldn't that create bubbles? And it did. So Greenspan, generated the 2000 bubble into which he poured fuel on the fire and said how wonderful the technology was which it was, of course, of the internet. But the more obviously wonderful an idea is, the easier it is for them to suck in too much money. Like railroads lost everyone's money, even though it changed the world. Internet lost everybody money. The bust in 2000, Amazon, the great hero of the internet, it had gone up 6 or 7 times in 18 months. And then in the decline, it lost 92%, as I like to say, check it, and then inherited the world. So it's not that they don't work out very well in the long run. It's that the great ideas like AI are guaranteed to suck in more money because everyone can see it will change the world. And so everyone throws money at it. My 100 billion CapEx is bigger than your 87 billion, this kind of thing. And what does that guarantee? It guarantees a bubble in AI capex, like fiber optic cable. And no one ever predicts it. And so if you can see it with your own eyes, why wouldn't you act on it?
Well, the trouble with this is that it's quite difficult to work out the timing. As
But
you
that's
know,
So if you can see it, act on it. I've said to you many, many times, as retail investors, we have more opportunity to do things than anyone on the planet. If you are able to access the stock market, most people can't. Most people have no money. You're not. Everyone here is 95% richer than everybody else on the planet. And you have more power than the hedge funds, more power than Donald Trump. You think you don't. You think you're a nobody. You're all controlled. They have to do things to be popular or to not get sued or whatever. You can do what you like. You might not have the capital to start off with, but I started with 5,000 and I'm nearly at 800,000. The information is there, but people don't do it. We all know we should go for a walk, but we don't. We all know we should eat healthy food, but we don't. What's the point of that? Human beings are their own worst enemies. Let's continue.
But that's not a trouble for an individual. It's your money. Fine. You get out a little early. Who cares? It's how you compound in the long run. It's a huge risk for an institution.
no, sure.
We have all the career risk you would want. And the market's uncertainty is considerably longer occasionally than the client's patience. So if you play that game, you will sooner or later be wrong. And Keynes would say, quote, "You will not receive much mercy," unquote. And we can vouch for that since in 2000, doing the right thing for the right reasons and winning the bet, we nevertheless lost 2/3 of our market share in 2.25 years. Not bad.
And you lost half your clients.
We lost, half the clients and more than half of the money adjusted for the market. Everyone else, we went from 30 billion to...
Listen to that for a moment. Michael Burry lost his clients until he made them more money in The Great Short. This guy here lost his clients. I've lost subscribers. Stupid people are everywhere. Why don't I have 100,000 people watching me? Well, first of all, it doesn't help the fact this was supposed to be a live event about new services on the channel, so no one's tuning in for a market crash information. That's my own fault. But even if I had done that, it wouldn't have been that popular because I don't tell people what they want to hear. People want to be told that they're going to get rich in 5 minutes. And it's heartbreaking, actually. It really frustrates me. It makes me angry. Like I want to smash something because I work harder than anyone. I tell you the truth. And this information can make you successful and rich. But it's not popular because people are stupid. You saw the people come in this morning. Some of the people saying the most ridiculous things. Martyn said XRP is going to go to 1,000 and all this stuff. They're just idiots. And I get angry with these people. I call them out, and I always will do, because they drive me mad. I can't stand them. I find stupid people parasitic on the world, breathing oxygen you have no right to. If you're just a bad person, what is the point of you? What do you do? What value do you provide the world? And it's frustrating as hell. You're trying to help people. All you want to do is help people. And I've demonstrated that by doing this now. I didn't change the thumbnail, make it more dramatic and tell everybody I'm giving you the best information from the best people about the crash as it's literally happening. I'm just staying live talking to you because I care. And we have 260 people. We have 260 great people. Let's continue.
To 20. And they went from 30 billion to 60 or 45. So we lost at least 2/3 of our market share, and quickly. And we were making money each year. We just weren't making as much money as the market.
Would you do that again? Have you had to relive that experience? Would you?
I don't do investing for the last 16 years of that kind. But looking at my colleagues at GMO, I would say that's precisely what we've done. We've done our best to do it more carefully or better. But no, we've stood our ground and mainly invested away from the US and mainly invested in value. We have a fund that goes long cheap and short expensive, which is, last I looked up, 9 for this year, 9% in a world that's generally down. And value is doing better. Yeah, in general, the market is outrageously hard to predict unless you take a long-term view.
Yeah.
You know it will come down, but you don't know when. And that, I used to get a lot of grief, by the way. I'd say that in public and people would say, yeah, but the long term is just a series of short terms. And if you can't do period A and you can't do period B and there's 10 of them in a row, you obviously can't do the collation. So it seems like bullshit. And then finally, I found the example, which is in the book, where you stand on the top of a high rise in Florida in a hurricane and you throw feathers in the air from a big bag of feathers. And some of them land a block away in a half minute. And some of them, like poor canaries from Jamaica, get swirled away and can't get out of it and end up in Maine several days later. So you know nothing about that in the short term, but you know something about the long term. Sooner or later, you can guarantee every feather will hit the ground. And that's like a bubble. It's the gravitational pull. You know with certainty that sooner or later it will come down. You don't know precisely when.
And you wrote in the book that all 27 of the bubbles you'd examined had returned to the previous trend.
Yeah.
So where do you expect the S&P to be when it does crack?
Well, trend is...
roughly, I mean...
it's pretty painful. Trend is at least down by half.
Okay, so 50% fall.
Yeah, all the great bubbles are 50% plus.
And they then take quite a bit of time to get back.
They usually do. But it's very variable. You know, the Depression was 25 years, and I think the shortest one was just 6 or 7 years. But yes, it takes quite a while.
Behind the Balance Sheet is an investment training consultancy. We help professional investors up their...
Sorry about that. I did it again. Still not getting... I'm going to get better with this muting button. Anyway, let's carry on. Just had to skip past that a little bit. Here we go.
Why is that? Is there a reason behind the...
I think so. And this is just, I hope, intelligent guesswork. But the last great signal before the bust in 29 is that very aggressive, flaky little stocks, mostly without much in the way of earnings, that had done brilliantly in 1928. They were all up 80%. And then in 1929, they start to go down early in January. And they actually go down as the S&P powers upwards. So the day before the crash, S&P's low-priced index, which was a brilliant study of those things, was down almost 40%. I mean, I say that's the primal scream from the stomach of the stock market of all time. And nothing like that happens again. High beta stocks do not go down when the market goes up. They may go up a bit less sometimes, but they never go down except in 1929. And then you wait until 1972. 1972, the top of the Nifty 50. The 50 great companies like Coca-Cola dominated the world and became 50% overpriced for the only time in history, really. And what happened in 1972 is the S&P went up 17% and the average stock went down 17%. So I can remember the data forever. And then nothing like it happens again until 2000. You remember in 2000, in March, the growth stocks broke and they hurtled downwards 50%, led by Cisco. And the S&P hit a co-equal high in September. And by September, what that meant is everything that wasn't a growth stock was up 13 or 14%.
Yeah.
And the growth stocks were down, they'd rallied a bit, they were down 40%. And it balanced the books. And it rang the signal, watch your tail. And of course, it went on not just for another leg down, but it had an unusual third year down in 02. And nothing like that happens again until 2022. In 2022, I owned a huge, unusual position in QuantumScape, a venture capital company that was doing solid state batteries. And unexpectedly, it came public as a SPAC, which I hate. I think they should be illegal, immoral. They certainly are immoral, and they should be illegal.
There you go. A SPAC, Virgin Galactic. I warned of that, didn't I? I spoke about the SPAC, how it is funded. Those that want to pump it and take the money from it. Richard Branson's done very well out of it. The directors and the board have taken all your money over and over and over again. Virgin Galactic is a SPAC. Yes, it can run to 100, but every time it tries to go up, it'll be taken and robbed from. SPACs are terrible. I've explained the success rate of SPACs time and time again. 99% of SPACs fail. It's not a very good rate, is it? As we watch Bitcoin now, 67,000. We've got now Michael Saylor unloading Bitcoin. This can only get worse. XRP, my target is 80 cents, maybe even 50 cents. Will I buy here? No. Not until the market has finished crashing, and we haven't even started. This is the beginning. The S&P is going up because those stupid hedge funds and those stupid managers are telling you to keep buying. Why? Because it suits them. Doesn't suit you. It's the worst thing. It's the worst advice. Not doing it. I'm buying the Coca-Cola. I'm all in. I'm defensive. I'm staying where I am. It's going to be a painful ride before it gets better, but that is where I'm staying. I'm going absolutely nowhere. Let's carry on.
And here I was suddenly owning one with the biggest position I'd ever had. It was such a big position. I owned it. The only thing I owned, because it was too big for the foundation, it would have seemed a little wonky. And it came at 10, as they always do, and that was 4 times my money. Not too bad. And in 3 months, it was 131. It was bigger than General Motors. It was still several years away from having any sales. Forget profits. And was selling for more than the price of General Motors. I think that's bigger than anything that happened in 1929. And there's a more spectacular example. It was, in fact, a meme stock, but I was so close to it that I couldn't breathe. Forget use my brains. The position was hundreds of millions of dollars, but I wasn't allowed to sell it. Had to wait 6 months. And I was saying to my colleagues that was the kind of stock that would sell it. Should it be selling at $5 to $10 a share, not 131. And it was 25 when the 6 months ran out, and we sold it, and then it went as low as 4 afterwards. But it was followed by Kathy Wood, a brilliant talker, by the way, and her entire portfolio of junior growth stocks without any earnings, basically, that had done so brilliantly off the low of COVID, started to drop. And by the end of 22, with the market strongly up on the S&P, her portfolio was down 30-35%. Growth stocks were in ragged disarray. That was another signal. Bang, just like the other. And only the fourth one in history. And the market, of course, dutifully collapsed in 22. And then, as we've covered, was rudely interrupted by the AI.
This most recent period has been quite remarkable. And I interviewed quite a lot of value managers. And of course, they've had a terribly, terribly painful time because value's been so difficult.
Last year was okay, finally.
Last year was the first year for
15 years or something like that.
Well, I mean, what would your advice be to people in that sort of circumstance? Do you just stick to what you know? I mean, it's unprecedented that it would be such a, I mean, 5 years, okay, but 10 years, 15 years. What do you do when you're in that situation? You're wedded to that philosophy and it's not working.
Yeah, I mean, the trivial but simultaneously serious answer is you go out of business. I mean, it's just, if you have a sense of value, if you've done it correctly, is always a sensible way to manage money. It's not just buying the guy whose assets are the cheapest in the marketplace, price to book. Price to book is the market's way of saying, these are the assets I think are the worst. PE is just, these are the earnings I think are the worst. But if you've got a nice dividend discount model adjusting for this and that, or a multi-factor value model, then you should always be using it in a sensible world. And then when sensible investing hits a spectacularly long run, I think, owing to Greenspan and the boys setting the fuse, and then everyone else going along with it, and then the COVID bailout in the US, which provided money beyond everyone's wildest dreams for a while. And you were sitting in the woods by law, you were at home, you had these big checks arriving, there was nothing to do except speculate, and so everyone learned to speculate, and they had these wonderful things on the internet where you could get together and compare notes to the moon, and off you go and have a wonderful time. And we had speculation like we have never seen to keep this thing going year after year after year. And you take it on the chin and you see if you can survive. And GMO has survived, but certainly it hasn't thrived in that time period, being as sensible as it could be, because we had a very nice year last year, staying away from the US. The US did much better than I would have thought, but the rest of the world did far better than that. So emerging and developed ex-US had a splendid year. And they've had a very good year this year, much better than the US also. Yeah. And
that's a very good point there. Another reason why I've bought Coca-Cola. You've not really understood it yet, but you soon will. Coca-Cola's next leg up will not be the US. In fact, the US could be its worst performer. It's the emerging markets. Only this morning, I was looking at a deal being done in Asia with Coca-Cola. The name Coca-Cola is more spoken than the word Jesus Christ around the world. That's a known fact. And the emerging markets is where the money is. And they'll buy Coca-Cola. It's the most widely known brand on planet Earth. So when I also talk to you about I'm looking to see what comes next, being prepared, defensive, and I've always argued that Coca-Cola is the best brand for a defensive play. It's why I'm all in. I don't mess around with a bit of this and a bit of that. That basically means you don't know what you're talking about. You just try everything. I've gone heavily in focus on Coca-Cola because it's the brand known by everyone. So all those emerging markets in those new economies that are just waking up, they're not going to be buying Teslas. They're not going to be buying data centers. They're not going to be buying robots and Optimus robots off Elon Musk. They're going to be simply buying a soft drink because it's affordable by everyone. And it's the licensing that makes the money. And all those bottlers will face all the local economics of whatever happens in those areas. But the licensing will be paid to Coca-Cola. So when we talk about a downtrend, get out of the market, sit on the sidelines, nope. By owning Coca-Cola, you own the global market where it's going to recover in the cheapest possible way. A simple tea, water, coffee. It's not just Coca-Cola, is it? That's the brand. Many, many brands, names inside it. That's why I bought Coca-Cola. This gentleman now is explaining exactly that, where the money is going to be made. You do not want to be tied to America. I want to be tied to the emerging markets of the world with the greatest defensive stock of all time. Let's continue.
If this keeps going, whoopee. And these cycles do tend to be multi-year. So maybe we have seen the turn, and up, down, and sideways, the US will underperform. It will have, of course, rallies, but I think it is probably facing a 10-year decline. And just to remind you, if you were sitting there in 2000 with GMO's then 10-year forecast, we had emerging at the top of the list with 11 or 12 a year forecast percentage points. And at the very bottom of the list of 14 asset classes, we had the S&P forecast to be minus 1.5 or 2. And that's a pretty big gap for something with a correlation of 0.7. And 10 years later, the 11 was actually beaten. It was close to 13, and the minus 1.5 became minus 3. And the gap was well over 200 percentage points in favor of emerging. So those things do happen, and they can last for a long time. So that was the massive hit to the S&P by emerging and the rest of the world, followed by a massive hit the other way round from the recovery low of 2009. The S&P and the growth stocks destroyed the rest of the world and emerging markets until January of last year.
It's funny because this isn't like long and distant history, and it seems perfectly natural thing to assume that the US it was 2/3 of the global capitalization would likely underperform the rest of the world. It seemed perfectly obvious. And I said this at a conference, and there was when you say something controversial, you hear that. And people looked at me, and of course the questions were all about, how can you say that? Yeah. Because everybody extrapolates. And I find it puzzling that people don't learn the lessons of history.
No, they don't. It is puzzling. It's very interesting. And it's reflected in climate change, and
it's puzzling, and it's infuriating for those of us that actually give a damn and care. And I demonstrating that by just going live and not changing the thumbnail, just continuing this event for you this morning. It's very, very frustrating. But humans are built this way. So it's not surprising to anybody. I've still got more. I told you this would be a long show. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm enjoying sharing this with you, and I hope it prepares you for what comes next. Let's continue.
Other existential risks. We don't do that. We don't do long-term very well. And we are programmed for optimism. I think pessimism was not a good survival characteristic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
For a few 100,000 years, it probably helped you survive if you were remorselessly optimistic, and it's built deep into who we are. And so we're optimistic, which means that the bull markets will always be longer than bear markets and so on. But the other thing is we don't do long-term. So we have no interest in anything over saving some food for the winter. We're not programmed to care at all about the distant future. And we love our grandchildren, but we're not programmed to actually act as if we do. So I always think of this as the top dogs at the chemical companies that know that they're putting out poisonous pesticides. They know it. Everyone knows it. The files are full of incriminating data, just as the tobacco files were at Philip Morris and so on. And they just go to work and they crank out their poisonous cigarettes, they crank out their poisonous pesticides as if they mean to kill their grandchildren. And then at the weekend they play soccer with them and are benevolent, help with the school fees. No, it's weird. How do we explain this? And then all the time, getting back to Keynes and so on, we're extrapolating the day's conditions, not, as he said, even though we know from personal experience, life is not like that. It's just something we adopt because it works fine. And we can live with it. And so you talk to those people and they at least express shock, although a little voice at the back of their head is saying, oh my God, I hope he's not right. And things that people hope are not right, they can be really vicious about it. In 2000 and in the great financial crash, but mainly in 2000, people around town were saying we had lost our way. we were just shockingly out of touch. And as you know, the engine rooms of the great firms, they all agreed with me because I got them to vote in a epic financial analyst meeting with 1,200 people and 400 experts at equities. Got them to put their hands up, and they all believed that the market in 10 years would go back to 17.5. And they all believed that would guarantee a major bear market. There was less than 1% who believed that it would not go back to 17.5 times earnings. It was 32 at the time, and it went back, of course, and it guaranteed a major bear market. But the engine room knew it, and the people who employed them were on the podium with me saying, "Oh, Jeremy, don't be hysterical. Everything will work out fine." That is the way the industry works. The engine room knows what the score is. They can see the bubble as well as you can as an individual. The bubbles are like giant Himalayan peaks that come out of the plane. You have to be brain dead to miss it. But you also have to be rash to adopt it as a business strategy if you're in the investment business, because the clients will not stand for your underperformance.
This is interesting because quite a few allocators listen to this podcast and they'll be interested in your perspective. You lost half your clients in the dot-com boom, and then you prospered and did brilliantly in the following bust. And your assets grew significantly, but you wrote, of the clients that fired us, not one came back.
Not one.
And you went on to say, if you avoided a bubble, you arrived back on trend eventually, but not necessarily the same clients you left with.
No.
So the problem for an allocator is, how do you tell the difference between a manager who's early and one who's wrong?
Later. When time has gone by, it will be revealed. Was he merely early but correct, or was he wrong? And, it's a kind of cliche to say early is wrong. Fine. Then what's the alternative? Have perfect timing or do nothing ever? And the answer is yes, that is the alternative. No one has perfect timing, so everyone stays together and does the same thing and runs off the cliff together. And
crazy, right? When you listen to this, doesn't it make you just feel stupid? It's, yeah, it's. I want to be, the best YouTube channel in the world, and I don't really care if there's 1 million people watching. It'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? But we won't be, or maybe we will be. I don't know. That if you help one person, it's important, but it's not about what can I do to attract people to watch, because most people are stupid. You can't. Most people are uneducated. There's the level of education now in the world is getting lower, and you've seen it. Do you really want 1 million people watching? Can you imagine the trolls? Can you imagine all the idiots that would get in here? Can you imagine the nonsense? It'd be just, you couldn't chat to me. It'd be rolling through. I'd be getting rich, but you'd all be going, well, this is rubbish. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Hardly anybody will listen, but you can be proud that you're doing the right thing. This interview is just a couple of days old. It's brand new. That's why I'm bringing it to you.
And that's the way it works.
How would you assess a manager if you were an allocator? Would you look for somebody that was intelligent, or would you look for somebody that had character? I mean, what would be the things that you would look for if you were on the other side of the desk?
I'd look for logic and great data. Do they sound sensible? Have they analyzed the data correctly? Is the data impressive? Have they got some insight into how the market works? All that good stuff.
And you managed to recruit some amazing people. James Montier, he's a genius. Your colleague, Edward, who helped with the book, brilliant writer. How did you...
And a very, very creative thinker in terms of investing, I might add.
How did you come to recruit these people? Did you have Did you look for mavericks?
No, that was largely luck. I was mesmerized by the game, working with a handful of people and happy to delegate, a lazy bum, let other people do the hiring and this and that and the other. And I think I only offered a job to 6 people, including Edward and James Montier.
And Ben Incur?
No, I didn't offer him a job.
All right.
He was, I was told that he had to join by David Swenson of Yale, the most famous of our clients. And so, of course, being a guy of great principle, I said, yes, sir. And I hired him. And he's been obviously terrific. But the others all turned me down. Rob Barnott, Andrew Smithers, who laughed all around town, explaining how I propositioned him in the first meeting. He came in, he sat down. I was so impressed by his kind of ruthless logic, grinding everything to powder, that I said, by God, why don't you quit this running around? Difficult to go touring with investment advice, really tough. Why don't you come and brainstorm here? And he said no, and that he was happy as a clam, and went off and told the story around town and had a good laugh, but always was very nice to me for the rest of his career, which includes today. And so my advice is, you never go, if you want to build a decent relationship, just offer them a job.
But we should just explain that they're responsible for what was the Credit Suisse Global Investment Yearbook and now the UBS Yearbook,
yes.
which I always write about in my newsletter. And it's an amazing publication.
And let me just finish, because there was Chris Darnell, who a business school teacher called me up and said, I vaguely remember you said to give you a call if anyone interesting came along. And I have this guy who was a genius at Yale and finished top of his year by a lot. And he's now in danger of flunking out of Harvard Business School. And I thought, perfect.
I'm going to wrap it up right now because I've been going for 5.5 hours, and it's probably not a bad idea to take a break. I want to go for a walk, reset. This was not intending to, I've been live, sorry, I beg your pardon. I've been live for 3 hours and 15 minutes, but I've been in the studio another hour before that. So I've been in the studio 4.5 hours. I'm going to wrap this up. We can pick this up later. I'm going to reset. No stage event today on Discord. No closing bell. I'm back again tomorrow with a brand new schedule. Going to be structured, going to be organized. We're going to be on time to the second. You can set your stopwatches to us. And it's going to be a lot more structure to the show. This live stream today was supposed to be a 10-minute live stream to tell you I was going to reset everything. I've let you down, and I'm going to be a lot more structured. You'll know exactly when I go live, same time every day, and we're going to pick this up tomorrow morning. So no Discord show today, no closing bell. Start again tomorrow with a show you'll know every day, the times. Every Friday, my music show, no missing until I take a holiday, and I tend to take a holiday once a year, or if I'm ill, but I don't ever tend to be ill. I never end up being ill, and if I am ill, I carry on anyway. But this what we're doing here needs consistency, discipline, and you need to rely on it because the community relies on itself. So I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. Thank you very much for being here. I will see you back tomorrow. Going to go and get a haircut, shave, tidy up the house, set the show for tomorrow morning, go to bed early. Every morning, the show will be live, same time, and there'll be extra shows, but look out on my social media, look out on the homepage of the channel. That's it from me. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the beginning of the crash. Some people will think that was an opportunity to buy crypto. Feel free. I don't think this is the time, because when we crash, and we will, this is a short-term rally. You just heard about it. I would rather buy Ethereum for 50 cents. I mean, everything will go down 80% when we have the crash. It's inevitable. So you, of course, might feel FOMO now, thinking, oh, I can buy Ethereum under 2,000. Hey, great. I'm not doing that. I'm not guessing. I'm not gambling. People are doing it right now, thinking, oh, wow, look at that. It was down at 121. It's already 124. This is great. Good luck. You're on your own. I'm not doing it. I'm looking for a much bigger thing. I'm looking for value. I'm looking for this absolute utter nonsense to finally correct itself. And when it does, you'll see my portfolio go to $1 million, from 5,000 to 1 million. That's it from me. I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you all enjoyed it. I want to give everyone a huge shout out that gave me super chats today and supported the channel. Some of you, I believe, have watched the entire show for 5 hours. It's been absolutely incredible. If you'd like to, if you want to support the channel and say thank you to the channel, the way to do that is stay right where you are and go to the extra channel. It will actually help enormously if you do that. It replays what you just heard live now on extra. I am actually going to play this event from the beginning, so you can see what you missed. For those of you that's missed it, you can actually see what you missed. Oh, hello, what's happened there? What happened there? Hang on a minute. Let's try that again. And it will be with live chat as well. So I've just pinned that. There we go. Live now on extra. Replace the pin. So let me just add this live event that you've just been part of to the playlist on extra. And if you did miss it or miss parts of it, you might like to go and check it out on extra. So I'm going to do that now. Just you'll watch me do it. If you stand by here, if you watch here, and even if you have seen it or heard it or don't want to watch it, it actually helps the channel grow by simply letting it play. If you can put it on mute, walk away. It helps the channel. All right. So you, for free, you haven't got a super chat. It just helps us grow by you watching this. All right. So I'm going to go over here, go to the extra channel. Refresh the screen. Find that event. Put it at the top. There it is. Bear with me a second. Okay, it's just starting now. So I'll end the stream. You've got the link. If you can go and check that out, that'd be wonderful. It'll automatically take you there. But that's it from me. I'm going to go and have my lunch. I'll see you back tomorrow morning, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. That's 1:30 in the UK. To the second, on time, and you can rely on me. You can set your clock. If there are issues, I'm dead, or there's no internet, or my computer blew up, I'll go on my phone. All right, I'll do whatever I can to be live on time, and new structure, new discipline starting tomorrow morning. See you back in the morning. Please now go and watch what you just missed. I think you'll enjoy it. It supports the channel, even if you don't need it. I'll see you back. As always, be prepared for what's coming. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye for now.